Welcome back to episode 35 of the Quarantine Cast here on Beyond the Brick. I'm Joshua Hinlin, and I've got Brian Saviano and Kirk Wilson back with me today. And we've got some exciting stuff to chat with you about, some fun news in the LEGO community, along with some great builds here as well. So let's jump on into it. So, as you might have seen from the title of this stream, I will be building the Spring Lantern Festival. So, a couple weeks ago, I built the other Chinese Lunar New Year set that came out this year. So, now I'm working on this one. This is the bigger of the two. So, that's what I've got. Brian, do you have anything to build today, or where are you at with that?
No. When we get further into the program, I'm going to showcase what I finally finished after many months of constructing from the 24-hour live stream. I finished Diagon Alley. I will show you each of the 4 buildings in their entirety and give you the final verdict on the set itself. It's very exciting.
Oh, wow. Way to tease it. I like keep the viewers coming.
Oh, yes, of course. You can't tell them everything all at once. You got to keep them interested.
We should also mention off the top, Brian has an exciting birthday stream. That's this next weekend coming up, right? This Saturday?
That is Saturday, January 23rd. There is a whole massive amount of announcements basically boosting my own ego. So if you want to stop by Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, that is going to be my birthday live stream. And the deck keeps getting more stacked the more the days go on. I'm very excited. Yes. Very, very excited. So if you care at all about what's going on in the world of me, then you may want to stop by and say hello. That's all I'm going to say.
If you're watching this, you probably do. So yes, I'm definitely hoping to stop by.
Yes, you probably love me, but Joshua, you do not love me as much as somebody who just super chatted right here, right now. That is the one and only Esh Dadi. For the first time in 2021, LME Toys, building your mind one brick at a time. I didn't even need to look at it that time. Daddy. I know it by heart. Thank you for tuning in. And happy 2021, man.
Yeah, it's true. I can never reach the levels that Esh Daddy is at, but no. I try my best.
You know what? You give it a commendable effort, and that's all I could hope for you, man.
Awesome. How about you, Kirk? You were continuing build your is it the Iron Man Hall? Is it the Hall of Armor? Is that what it's called?
Correct. I got some progress on it a bit more during the weekend after I built the Hall of Armor set on my channel. So I'm just going to be getting some more progress on that. At the moment, the main focus right now is just going to be working on Dummy, which is the robot, like the robotic arm that's in the Hall of Armor. So I'm just going to be working on that for now and then progress forward throughout the stream.
And shout out to all of our viewers watching right now. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Looking forward to chatting with you throughout the whole stream. I just saw Mike, the Cool Factor, in here. He says he'll join in an hour or so. We've got Mini Brick Productions. We've got 2 Twitch viewers, 9 Periscope viewers. There we go.
Periscope people, they're pulling in strides, man.
And then we've got a new, I think, first time ever on the Quarantine Cast here.
First time. It's
Jay. How's it going? So, let's see here. So, I'm going to quote Kevin Hinkle out of context here. Yo, fam, it's lit to be here, poggers. He may have said these words, but never in that order. But, you know.
Brian looks so excited for you to be here, Jeff.
Oh, well, special shout out to 2 special ladies, one in Brian's life named Brenda, who we met on a Zoom date, and my girl Emily, who I love to be on. But Brian's got some love in his life.
Do I, Jeff? Do I?
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
She gave like 10 subscriptions last night. She's clearly a real person and not something I made up to get a conversation going.
Well, technically, Jeff, you got me like 15 gifted subs on Twitch, so thanks, man.
Oh, God.
Where's my cut?
Anyways, we have a plethora of discussion.
So, Jeff, Brian invited you here today to be disappointed.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just want to put it out there right off the top so that you
That's usually know what's going on. Does. So it's all good. Don't worry about it. High hopes and expectations. Oh, Brian Saviano. Well, never mind. Well, that's just how it goes.
So don't just you're like a semi truck barging into this quarantine.
Is that a
cast.
fat joke?
Yeah. Tell the people who you are.
Okay.
Tell the people who you are and what you do and why they should care. Introduce yourself here.
Ooh. So I'm Jeff. I'm a mod for Beyond the Brick these days, which is kind of weird. I don't know how I got in that position. A little bit of money slid people's way. Enjoy that new swimming pool, Joshua Hanlon. All right. So I make videos about Lego sometimes, some video gameplay, and I also do live builds, and I use personal connections that I've made with people to make my channel better by having guests show up all the time. So if you're under the age of 14, don't go to my channel. It's just that simple.
So I probably should avoid it then.
No, Joshua, you are more than welcome to join in anytime you would like. Just be prepared that we'll talk about some serious things like how a proton pack works or the moral implications of what a ghost trap is doing. I'm also going to be building the 3-in-1 Creator Beach House today.
Oh, that's a cool looking set.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'm super excited about it. And I also talk about Hot Wheels a lot, but we're not going to talk about Hot Wheels today.
No Hot Wheels. We specifically banned Hot Wheels discussion.
Plus Hasbro, and we all know how well they did with their building block solution toy.
Jeff, we need to work on your color saturation. You look very desaturated. You know what I mean?
You're desaturated.
I'm desaturated on the inside, which is why I have so much color on the outside to compensate for how I feel on the inside.
That's fair.
Joshua's trying to decipher if we're joking or not. We have a lot. We have a lot of discussion here today, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot going on in the world of Lego. Is that another fat joke? Kevin, why are you here?
Kevin, you were directly quoted by Jeff earlier. Did you hear that? It was pretty good.
Yeah, I'll do it again. Yo, fam, it's lit to be here. Poggers, Kevin A. Hinkle.
I love inspirational quotes.
Jacob in the chat through Facebook just said, hello, Legos. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for joining.
That's how I wake up every morning. I spring out of bed and I scream, hello, Lego.
it's like Emmett in the Lego movie.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Kirk, what are you doing? What are you working on right now?
I am working on my Hall of Armor lock. So right now, I'm working on Dummy, which is the robotic arm in the Hall of Armor.
Yep.
But I'm really just trying to find the right parts to make it as accurate as possible and make sure that the scale isn't too large for the size of the mock. Otherwise, it just looks odd.
Well, flip it around, because as exciting as it is to see a big gray block, it's not exciting.
I'm sorry. Well, how else am I supposed to be able to work on my
I don't know. You're supposed to show people.
Okay. Well, no, I showed it earlier. You weren't. I don't think you were here when I showed it.
No, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is what I'm working on. This ugly battery box is not staying on top of that. It's just out at the moment.
Wait, that's not going to be in part of the build, that battery box?
It's going to be inside the build.
It's going to be. Well, what if I want to see it on the outside of the build? That really brings it together, Kirk.
Then, I think you're going to be very disappointed because I don't.
Well, it's like a Predator 2 mock. That'll never happen. Such as life.
Anyways,
this is why Jeff hasn't been on the show before.
I'm having fun and talking to 2.3 of my friends. Everything is fine.
Yes.
You guys should do this more. Is this your first live, guys? Have you done on Beyond the Brick? So we've done this forever.
It feels like forever, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it really does.
36 weeks. How long?
Yeah, this is our 35th episode now. So for those of you, we've had a couple people now say this is their first time they've joined us. So if this is your first time, we stream this live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So what any of your preferred platforms, you should be able to find us. So if you want to come back every week, we stream the show at the same time, and it's always a lot of fun. We're usually building some sets, and then we're talking about whatever has happened in the Lego community that week, along with anything else we can think of.
Hey, don't forget Periscope.
What?
What's that?
Don't forget Periscope.
He
That's
said
Twitter.
Periscope.
Oh, you did? All right, I wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
Periscope is
Sorry.
Twitter.
Oh, I'm not hip with it, I guess.
You need to read more Kevin Hinkle's quotes.
No, you don't. Jeff, the reason you're here is because mostly because I want to give you something to do, but secondly, because there is a discussion that I think that you are going to add a lot to as one of the brand ambassadors of the old people in the Lego community. So
Thanks, man.
So I think this is going to be a piece of content for John to clip out afterwards. So I'm going to give you the open here. That way he can do the snippety snappity and then do the thing here. So let me pull up what's the article on again? It's what Lego ideas.
I mean, that's not the reason that I was told that I was here in the first
that's
place,
it.
a centralized being. My dad told me it was thanks to a box of wine, but I don't know what that means. So.
John, give me the full.
And from that.
Okay. Lego is celebrating 90 years of being a company, and they're releasing an anniversary set in 2022. Which one of these themes is it going to be? We're going to discuss it right here on Beyond the Brick. You're welcome.
Great
All right,
quality content.
That's content, baby. So if you want to share my screen, actually, I'm going to put you. No, can I put myself to work? Hold on, let's see. All right, yeah, John, pull up the website. Yeah. Oh, wait, we can do that. That's fine. All right, so let me zoom in here. Hold on. We have this entire fan vote happening right around here. There's going to be a bunch of different themes that Lego is considering to make a 90th anniversary set out of, and it could be one of 30 different classic Lego themes. You guys have heard about this in the community. Lots of people have lots of opinions on it, and we're gonna see what happens with this here vote here today. All right. So
are there a lot of opinions? I thought nobody really cared which theme got made.
No, people are very, very, very passionate about this. I kind of am semi passionate. I'm not like overwhelmingly passionate because a lot of these themes I don't actually I haven't built, but a lot of people that are a bit older grew up with them, and it's a valuable thing to them. So we'll go into it. So basically, how it's going to work: fans are going to vote between these 30 themes. They're going to pick 3 of these themes to recommend to Lego. They're going to whittle them down all the way until the very top 3, and that'll be a publicly shown vote, like this theme got this much or that much or whatever. And then once the final 3 are picked, you get one more vote for what that set will be. That will be a vote that is not shown publicly. So no matter what the very final thing they make a thing of, we're not going to know about until it's probably on store shelves ready to rock and roll. So this Lego Ideas post is meant to show off all the different options people have, what Lego is recommending, or rather, they're recommending it in a way. We'll get to it in a little bit, but this is everything that they're putting out on the table for you to look at right here, right now. So this, the vote ends for the first round January 25th, and the second round of voting goes from February 3rd to the 10th. So that's a short time frame to get this thing rocking and rolling. But making it swift, you know what I mean? So
like
of the
Taylor
13, sorry, go ahead.
Like Taylor Swift?
Yes.
Okay.
Jeff, don't speak until you're called on, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm
You're
sorry.
Jeff, you're new here.
Okay.
So there are 30 themes that we can choose from to see what could potentially it be. There's trains, and I'm going to give my thoughts. We're all going to give our thoughts afterward, but we're just going to go through what is here. There is an option of trains, town, classic space, classic castle, Lion Knights, Black Falcons, Model Team, Forestman, Blacktron, Black Knights, Pirates, Imperials, Space Police, M-Tron, Wolfpack, Paradisa, Dragon Knights, Ice Planet, Aquazone, Spirius, Explorians, Time Cruisers, Divers, Adventurers, Extreme Team, Rock Raiders, Studios, Bionicle, Arctic, and Alpha Team. Those are the 30. Okay.
That
Now,
is quite a list. There's a lot to unpack in that list there.
There is quite a lot to unpack, and I'm going to share with you all an image that I compiled here just to, visualize everything on one screen here. All right. So if we take a look at this, it shows all the images that Lego showed in that list, but it's just there. I didn't put the names, so we can kind of whittle down the names and whatever we can identify them, right? Because we're all smart people. So Lego is going to go with one of these 30. Now, before we get into the what's going to happen here, whatever, there are some exceptions that have not made it into the list. Can anybody tell me, specifically Joshua, what classic Lego theme is not present here?
Western?
Yes. What's the deal?
I don't know. Somebody dropped the ball massively on that one. So, I hope there's someone fired over this. That's all I can say.
John. Oh, man. Oh, baby. Oh. I hope someone loses their job. Whoa. All righty. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I find it interesting. And do you think it has anything to do with them not wanting to touch just like the Cowboys and Native Americans thing in general? Because that is clearly a classic Lego theme, like even more classic and important than some of these other themes on here.
Right, there's some pretty obscure themes here. So yeah, that's true. I that was my first thought when Western wasn't in there, right, was that there's potential controversy there and it's better to be avoided. I mean, I guess you could also say that they've done, a while back we had Lone Ranger sets and stuff, so maybe they think, we've had some other sort of Western type themes, so it's not worth bringing back. But I would say the potential for controversy is probably the main reason that I could think of.
Yeah, I mean, with that logic that you had initially before that, like they already did Pirates with Barracuda Bay. They've done classic space with the Lego Movie. Like they've touched on a lot of these things, especially relatively recently. So I think it is the controversy, unfortunately, which is a shame because I like the idea of cowboys being a thing. Like Western is an iconic Lego theme, but that's beside the point. So of each of these here, between you guys, which ones immediately do you want to see happen? Joshua.
So yeah, if we go with the image full, so the three that I actually voted for already. Have you voted yet, Brian, or were you holding off?
I have not voted. I was waiting until this discussion to vote.
I thought about that, and I probably should have waited, but I didn't. So
that just goes to show I'm about the content and you're not, but that's fine.
There we go. So the three I voted for were Adventures, Forest Men. Oh, wow, look at this. Interactive.
Classic.
Oh,
man. Wow, that's horrific. What a horrific circle. Oh boy. This is why I have Kevin do my art. All right. Let's oh mama. All right. We have over here, yeah.
There we go.
Man.
This is what happens when we let Brian make the graphics.
I want to make it easier on John.
Oh my God.
My bad.
Anyway, back to the list. So Adventures, Forest Men. Where's
this?
Oh, there it is. And then just above that, the Black Falcons.
Okay.
Those were the three. So it was very hard for me to decide between all the Castle sub-themes. So if people have watched these streams before, we've talked about Castle. Everyone knows I love the historical themes and how much, it'd be great to have a Castle theme again. So it really took me some time to think about which ones I would like to see. But in the end, for me, it was kind of the nostalgia factor in the ones I had when I was younger. So Forest Men was something I had several sets growing up and just loved that theme. Loved the idea of like a Robin Hood type theme. I think that's really neat. And then the Black Falcons, that particular set that's in the graphic there. Little Timmy and I actually got that when we went to Legoland with our family in the very early 2000s. So I have a lot of great memories with that set, and I think that theme would be very cool. And then Adventures, one of my all-time favorite themes. So much potential with those sets to go around the world to different places and just capture really cool, unique locations. So that was kind of the thinking behind those three for me.
So I'm going to go by color-coded here, just so we can see what each of us picked. So for Kirk, you're up. I have this very nice magenta here for you to help you stand out. What three did you pick, or are you going to pick?
I actually did not vote for anything yet because of the same reason you said, Brian.
Yeah, we're about the content, and Joshua's not, right?
Yeah, clearly. I really didn't grow up with any of these. Honestly, no. I didn't grow up with any of these that I'm seeing here. So I guess it's going to be more so me just looking off of like what seems like it would be interesting to have as a set.
Mm-hmm.
Studio, I think that's like one I would go with. And that's because that was the thing that kind of like introduced the whole Sam Raimi Spider-Man thing. So there's that.
Right.
But the castle, or is that a castle? No, I don't think.
There's 6 castles here.
Okay, no. I'm about to say which one, but I'm trying to make sure it was a castle. I don't want to anger anyone by calling it a castle, and it wasn't a castle. It's the one at the bottom corner.
This one?
Yep, that one right there. That one looks interesting. And then, yeah, I mean, no, it looks very, very good. The final one. That's the thing. I'm gonna say, I'm trying to think.
While you're thinking, just to give you a minute, we should clarify. There was a good question from Maniac for Bricks here. Do the photos reflect what set is being reimagined in each theme, or just a visual? And I believe it's just a visual, right, Brian?
Yeah, it's a visual. So as far as I know, what Lego is going to do is they're going to pick whatever theme they're going to do, and then they're going to remix or make something new, ergo Pirates of Barracuda Bay homage and level of quality and care that goes into it. But it's going to have Lego 90th anniversary branding on it and be a one-off, as far as I know.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'm going to go with Ice Planet. That should look great.
Ooh, all right. Because you didn't grow up with these. It's kind of
I didn't. So it's more like I've seen the sets just over me like looking into Lego and stuff like that, but I don't own them.
Kirk, did you have any of these themes, like even like buying older sets on eBay or anything like that, or did you not? Have you never owned anything from pretty much any of these themes here?
Nothing from those themes. The only thing that I have that's somewhat older that kind of had like advertisements of like I think it was something pirate related. It was a poly bag called the what is it called? I think it's Track Blaster or something like that. But it was like a car. I have it somewhere in my closet. But it was a poly bag, like yellow poly bag, and a yellow car. I just can't remember the name of it.
Joshua,
Gotcha.
I'm changing your choices to red because you're beyond the brick.
Okay, I like it. That works well.
Yeah. In terms of who's up next, Jeff, I know you're passionate about what 3 you would choose. I know you are.
Yeah.
What are they?
So the 3 that I have chosen, you're actually going to be kind of shocked at this due to the fact that what T-shirt I'm wearing today and everything else. I picked Time Cruisers for 1 vote.
Time Cruisers right here.
Yeah. Yep. I then picked Aquazone.
Ooh, okay.
And I picked the castle in the middle on the bottom row.
Ooh, all right.
Runner-up, of course, is Forestman, and basically all the castle stuff I wouldn't mind seeing, to tell you the truth.
I am shocked there's no overlap so far.
Yeah. So the thing about it is, like, everyone that is my age or thereabouts or whatever, we grew up with all of these. Like, every last one of us. I'm pushing 40, just for clarity's sake. And we grew up with all of this. Like, the Pirates, the Imperials, everything. And like revisiting that childhood is all well and good and everything and like whatever. But when it comes down to it, like, yeah, I could be that guy that's like, classic space has to be the way of it. But there's a reason they don't make classic space sets anymore. There's a reason that they don't make any of these sets or any of these themes anymore, right? Whether it be licenses, whether it be nobody made the money, whatever, okay? So this is basically Lego throwing out the idea that you can revisit these themes and revisit your childhood, blah, 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 blah. Like, if this is aimed for children, then I'll be shocked, because this is definitely aimed for the people that are my age or older or younger or whatever.
Yeah.
To revisit those things. And, like, I like the sets that I voted for. Like, Time Cruisers was one of my favorite things when I was growing up. I had the car where you moved it and discs spun and everything else, and it was one of my favorite toys as a kid, and I don't see why people wouldn't like put their heart on a sleeve. I know that Boone wrote in Galador, which he should have. Galador didn't.
No, Boone Langston, he's all sorts of skewed. Okay, no.
Boone has a lot of good thoughts to share, but you know, sometimes he's wrong as well.
No, that wasn't one of them.
That was not. I was.
No.
Can we just take a minute? I think there's probably a lot of people watching right now who maybe aren't familiar with the Time Cruisers theme. To me, this might be the #1 craziest theme Lego has ever done. If you look at those sets and just think like this is something that a professional designer like came up with. To me, that thing always looked like it was something that like a 5-year-old like threw together. And so like the idea that this was like real designers released this as an actual theme has always just blown my mind. But why don't you explain a little bit more behind that theme and kind of what that was for people who aren't familiar with it?
So Time Cruisers was the answer to a non-licensed Back to the Future back in the early 90s. I'm not joking. I wish that I was, but I'm not. So they created the Timmy, the time traveler, and then the professor whose name I don't remember. And so time travel is pretty boring unless you don't have conflict. So they came up with another like good guy, bad guy situation of the Time Twisters. And the Time Twisters were out to alter history and yada shmata. And the professor, see the Hypno Cruiser was one of my favorite sets. That was my first experience.
It's so cool looking. It's so out of the box.
Well, when you move those wheels, the propeller turns, everything turns. It was cool, man. And like the premise is that these guys are traveling through time to make basically quantum leap. For the most part, only they're not leaping into bodies. And so like they're fixing time. They're fighting the Time Twisters and everything else. And so like the hats. Did you guys ever know why they have so many hats? Like the different hats that came in every set, like they got a Nice Planet hat, like a Robin Hood hat and stuff like that. Do you know why those came with those sets?
Why?
Because in the Lego magazine comic book, that was how they blended in the time frame that they were in. They would just put on a hat and be like, yep, I belong here. And so Time Cruisers is basically, we've got all these extra parts, right? Yeah, Ted, we do. Awesome. Jorgenstein, yeah, get to work. Yeah, we'll do. And then basically you've got a time traveling boat thing, a jalopy that has. So the best thing about the Hypno Cruiser is that it has a trailer that holds all the hats. So that way, when you travel through time, you have your trailer with your hats, so you're okay. I don't know what they were thinking either, Joshua. I just remember loving that when I was a kid.
I don't think I've ever heard the full story behind it. So the story, when you explain it like that, makes it better. I will say that. But still, when you look at these sets, it's crazy.
It's a train wreck, but like every good train wreck, you really can't look away. Yeah, like Brian's Twitch channel.
Oh God,
Brian, you're muted.
Can we go back to the image real quick? I'm sharing it.
Sorry, I just needed to take us down that little path to enlighten viewers.
You may notice some orange on here. Anybody want to guess what the orange is?
Timmy's picks?
No.
Oh.
It is Kevin's picks.
Oh.
Those are Kevin's picks based on 8 years firsthand Lego community observation, Bionicle, Classic Space, and Ice Planet. So he has technically the most informed opinion of any of us, and the only overlap is Ice Planet so far.
Now, I'd be interested in the Ice Planet. I get Classic Space and Bionicle. I can understand those two, but I wonder why Ice Planet, if Kevin in the chat wants to add any context to that.
Yes. Yeah, that would be very helpful. I can't say that I disagree with that logic or really any of the logic that any of you guys have brought up. I'll go over, while Kevin is hopefully articulating his thoughts, I'll go over what I would pick. And my pick is based more so off of a process of elimination based off of what Lego is doing now, what I think would be the most creative of a 90th anniversary set and would really hit the most, right? So let's go through. I'm going to go through a lot of these here that are not going to happen. All right. I'm going to confidently say are absolutely not going to happen. Okay. First things first. Sorry, Brickstar. Trains. Absolutely not. No, not going to happen. Absolutely not. We can get that out of there. Lego releases trains all the time. All right. So no, why would they make a 90th anniversary set of a train? They come out with like 3 trains in a year. Right. Kevin right now says,
what if it's a special train, Brian? What if it's a magical redemption hopes are alive train?
Jeff, I don't care. Anyone who understands the numbers and influence of the Bionicle fan community does not know this community. They will crush this poll, zero doubt. And I wholeheartedly agree, but I'm going to get into why I don't think the set is going to happen, but I do agree that it's going to be in the top 3 wholeheartedly. Talk says vote for Fabuland. Fabuland's not on here either, which I mean I don't think would have made it, but I think that's another one of those like cult classic Lego themes that people are really into. That would be really cool to see done newer, but is not here.
I would have voted for Fabuland because that is just such a crazy theme. If they could somehow bring that back in 2022 version of Fabuland would just be so crazy. But yeah, that's too bad it's not on there.
Well, I mean, they had a rehash of Fabuland with Cheetah.
Kinda. Izzy's in the chat says, I still say that Brian is upset because Lego Mario isn't on the list. I'm livid. I am absolutely livid.
How livid are you?
Every fiber of my being is raging because Mario isn't on this list. But going through this even more, can somebody in the chat or from you guys tell me why is Model Team here? Why?
That's because a good question. To me, Model Team, it's almost like the old version of like Creator Expert or something, right? I mean, it seems like it was kind of like bigger models from back in the day when they made that. So I don't know. We get a lot of that type of stuff, I feel like, today.
So Model Team was like when you were hanging out with your older friends and they still played with Lego, but they like wanted to hide that they played with Lego.
So you mean you mean the cars that they come out with now in the Lego Technic sets.
Right, exactly.
All right, so John, bring up this list again. You could? Absolutely not going to happen. 100%.
Yeah, I don't see that being a thing either. Like, we already have that. I'm
not even sure why they put that on this list. No. Yeah, because it...
Let's go through a couple other of these ones that I can tell you for a fact won't happen. We got Aqua stuff. We got Aqua stuff recently. That's not going to happen. Same thing with
Arctic. That's not happening because City is like big on that.
Yeah. I saw someone, I think it was Ben in the chat just now, said something about wanting town, which this is a bad image for town, by the way, like a port yard. That's weird. But they would want town because it would go with the layout. But if you look at the recent Lego City sets with the base plates and everything like that, they're already articulating what a Lego town would be like using that system. So I don't think they're going to come out with another town plan like they have in previous anniversary sets to do that. So I vote this is not going to happen at all. But any objections?
I also just don't think Town is going to get the votes either. I don't think Town has a passionate enough fan base like you get with Bionicle or the castle themes, the space themes. I just don't think there's enough people interested in Town.
So we got one row down. I'm going to go out on a limb and say what's absolutely not going to happen is Paradisa. Sorry, Just Too Good. Not going to happen. Any objections?
Unless you think people are really trying to go for something unique, and they're like, "Hey, let's try to get something different."
Well, but the thing with Paradisa, as far as I can tell, the color scheme you could get out of a friend set, and if you want the printed base plate, you're not going to get it. You're just not. So what does a Paradisa set do that a Lego friend set couldn't already do? And would that exemplify 90 years of history from Lego? I say
No.
absolutely not.
No, absolutely not.
Sorry, Justin. Unless you want to come in here and defend yourself, you're out. You're done.
No Fabuland, and now Paradisa's out. What does he have left?
You know what? He's got Mario just like me, man. Not in this time. In terms of these other ones, two points here. So at the very end of the poll, they ask you what sub themes would you want, right? If you had to recommend a sub theme or a different thing, what would you recommend? So like for adventurers, you could say Orient Expedition, right? That is a sub theme technically, kind of, right? Johnny Thunder and all that. But they have like 6 or 7 different castle themes on here. So how did that get fragmented, and also space get fragmented so much? And like, I feel like that's really splitting a vote, right?
Right. I thought the same thing. Yeah. And I've seen people complaining about that with, for instance, like Bionicle, because with Bionicle, you've got the one vote. And so, you get all the Bionicle fans coming and vote for that. But with space and with medieval, with castle, you've got like half a dozen options on each of those. They're going to be splitting all those votes up.
Right. So to me, when I'm looking at all these different castle themes, I personally don't have a horse in the race for any of them. But they're definitely, if they're going to put one into the top 3, then which one of them would it be? Now, as we saw today from the announcement, they just released or announced the blacksmith shop, which is what, Black Falcon, right?
Right. Yes.
So they are either, if they do a castle theme, it would be a Black Falcon castle, or it'll be something entirely different. Like it's going to be one of the two. But my question, and this is probably to Jeff and the older community members here, what makes any of these distinct from another building wise, or what could be attributed into a 90th anniversary set?
All right. So here's the thing about that. So let's talk about Forestman for quick. Can you bring it up? All right. So Forestman right there, right? That's technically Castle. We all know that's Castle. Oh, it's Castle because it's Robin Hood. It's a different aesthetic. It's the same with the one right next to it, the bridge and everything else. It's a different aesthetic that fits within the Castle universe, whatever, okay? Same within the one next with that, the Dragon Knights, and so on and so forth, okay? So people like the way that castles looked from different eras of those castles. I myself am a Forest Man, Wolfpack guy, so whatever. But there's also people like Captain Xavier, who is a Lego YouTuber and a darn nice guy, who likes the middle style classic castle right there, the green circle one there. So I could see people coming down and being exactly like you are, Brian, and I'm sure the younger folks, well, why is there 7 castle themes? Or whatever. Because they're different aesthetics and they look different. They have different minifigures that people really enjoyed. But if Lego was smart, I think they would build the green circle castle, and then throw in other visiting knights from the other factions.
Right.
Give a bit of everything to everybody. Would that work for space? Probably not. But for castle, yes.
So we can get to space afterward, but at least for castle, like I would either say they would go with the yellow castle and call it a day, or they do a $300 to $400 UCS 90th anniversary giant gray castle, and it's the ultimate Lego castle, one that has never been released before, that will just be like, all right, this is the only thing you're going to get, but it's going to be the most amazing castle Lego has ever done. And it's going to be gray, and it'll incorporate little details of each of these castle things. So I don't think there's a specific theme that they would attribute it to, but maybe they would just go with Black Falcons because they put that in the blacksmith shop, right? Like it's more so, I feel like it's going to come down to like what emblem is going to be on the armor by comparison. Like I don't,
Well, I mean, if cost isn't an issue here, in my opinion, why not? I know this is going to be far-reaching, and I'm sure someone will be upset about it. But why not give us interchangeable torsos with the castle set that they come out with? So like, it's a Black Falcon castle, but the Lion Knights were able to whatever. Okay, like so just so you can switch it all out.
You know what they could do is they could. I mean, again, this is a lot maybe, but if they had a sticker sheet and you could just apply whatever stickers you wanted to the banners, just slip up all the banners and you're done. Make them whatever, right?
They did that with Star Justice. I don't know if any of you know what that set is, but when the minifigures came out, all their torsos had stickers on them to represent all that stuff that's happening. So.
They wouldn't do that for the minifigures, but I could see them if they included just regular knights, just plain gray, and then the banners and the colors could be swapped out, like relatively easy, right?
That's how the yellow castle is like that, right? It's all stickers that you applied to. It's just plain minifigs.
But that's also ancient,
so right?
Like, you got to think of like the design philosophy that Lego would go with for new stuff. I'm not saying you're not thinking of that, but that's just another thing to keep in mind.
I wouldn't call it ancient.
Yeah, ancient in internet terms. I'm sorry, Joshua. Go ahead.
I don't think there's any way they would make the yellow castle either. I don't think people are going to vote for that. I mean, when you look at the castle fans in the community, I think people lean much more towards a more realistic looking castle theme. I don't think there's enough of the older fans out there that are so nostalgic for a yellow castle that they would vote for that.
Okay,
I would be stunned if that got enough votes and beat out the other castle themes.
So I'm eliminating that one.
Oh, I don't know about that, Joshua.
But okay, but if they come out with $100 plus castle though, Jeff, it's not going to be yellow. It's going to be gray. Right?
I honestly don't know, man.
So
to me, the yellow castle just like looks objectively so much worse than like a real looking castle.
Right.
The only reason you would vote for that is because of like nostalgia, basically.
But imagine if they did that, in 4K, right? Like Barracuda Bay. It's like new. It's like, whoa, new building techniques, new like shading and whatever. Like,
I mean, maybe if they found the right way to do it, but I think it'd be hard to make it as cool as in these other castle themes like Wolfpack, Forest Men, all of these really amazing themes that they've had over the years that already have so much better material.
Real quick, Isabel in the chat says, echoing what other people have said, they should bring out an anniversary set for each of the different factory or factions, town space, etc. That just sounds smart in terms of sales. And that is something I meant to bring up for this entire argument. I think it's ridiculous that Lego isn't coming out with at least 5 or a half dozen anniversary sets for the 90th anniversary. You could absolutely do a $100 set for adventurers, a $150 pirate ship, a classic space set. You could hit all the markers that represent Lego and it would sell, and that can celebrate the anniversary maybe for the 100th, but that's another 10 years from now. So how can you possibly accumulate 90 years of legacy into one Lego set that you're having people vote for? Like, there's room for more sets. I don't care how many SKUs there are. Like, there's enough room to work with a lot of these themes and make a really cool one-off set that people love.
So to quote Kevin Hinkle for Reelsy Reels, you don't know that they're not going to do that.
Well, right. And I would love that. And I certainly hope so. But even still with this discussion here, you can still whittle down what they are and are not going to do.
Yeah, I think that brass tacks, I think when it comes down to it, is that Lego will do a set or something along those lines of every one of those factions or themes or whatever else. I think that we'll get that over time, just not all at once. Maybe I'm wrong.
Looking at this list, just going back to it, Adventurers Joshua chose. I actually grew up on Alpha Team over here, and I think that's a little bit too similar to Adventurers, so I'm gonna eliminate that one. Just
Alpha Team had some cool stuff, but I don't think I've not heard people talk about it, with the affection that you get with a theme like Adventurers, in terms of what people would vote for.
Didn't we get a Alpha Team minifigure in a CMF?
No,
I don't think an exact
really.
Alpha. Did we get an exact Alpha Team? I think there have been some similar looking ones.
Isn't it this guy?
No, that's not a CMF.
Well, yeah, it is. The torso is. I just traded out the heads.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, isn't that...
Yeah, but
Anyway.
that's not... Oh, yeah.
I think I might have that same torso, actually.
So let me go back. Okay, so the pirate ship, I can almost guarantee you 1,000% they're not going to do it because of Barracuda Bay. Do we all agree?
That one pirate ship they just released.
That and I see. That's why I didn't vote for that or the Imperial set, because I feel like we got Barracuda Bay, which I don't know, it captures a lot of those vibes for me, and was such an amazing set that I would hope people would be like, okay, we got that. Let's kind of vote for something else to get in now.
Right. So I'm eliminating that one. So you can see, like, we're whittling down this list here of like what is feasible, what would Lego do, what is like most accurate.
I like Kirk's real quick. I like Kirk's vote for studio. I almost voted for that. I think that was a very unique, very different theme that certainly has potential for them if they decided to re-release it. Then some cool directions they could go in there.
Right. So the what happened with Studio, though, it relied a lot on two things. One, early Spider-Man 2002, which that obviously wouldn't happen now. But then two, Monsters, which we're seeing the going away of Hidden Side allegedly. But you know, this Studio has something different to it compared to Hidden Side. But is that spooky itch hit with a theme like Hidden Side or Monster Fighters? I know, shout out to Tricky Bricks in the chat, wants Monster Fighters to come back, and this would be the closest you could get to it in a way. But has that already been scratched, or would they just not bother?
I think it's been scratched. I think that they view... I don't want to say this because I don't know how accurate it is, but the way that the Hidden Side didn't sell, you know what I mean? I think that Lego saw that and went, well, okay, you know, I guess we're not gonna.
Well, that was the app. I think a lot of that had to do with the app and the lack of honesty and communication with the box art, where you saw these really cool ghosts on there. They're not included. So mishap there
too. But I think that Lego will just, you know, sort of be like, maybe next time, you know.
Although I do like with Studio, it's like a movie set. Like you can make it's such a cool concept.
Oh, I love that concept as well. I have a couple of the of those from back in the day because I wanted the director because I thought it looked like George Lucas. Anyway,
is there before we continue any further, are there any of these castle sets down here that we can eliminate?
Yes. The bridge.
The Wolfpack one? Yeah, Wolfpack had some neat sets in it, but it's just such an obscure, like even more obscure and sub-theme than some of these others. I feel like Forest Men is a much more well-known theme than Wolfpack. So yeah, I just don't see enough people voting for that.
Well, Wolfpack only had like what, three actual sets? Like,
right. It was
they get out of here. No, they're not gonna no.
Yeah.
I want to eliminate two more of these. Which two?
It's hard to say because it depends on if people want the more like classic castle look, like the one that's circled in green there, or if they want something a little different.
All right, so let's get rid of the dragon set.
I like I want that dragon mold to come back. That's a sick mold, but okay.
Well, so do I, but that's never going to happen.
That is another more obscure theme, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
That's more fantastical, mystical, right?
Brian, you mentioned earlier about the blacksmith and how it kind of has the Black Falcons. So I mean, you could say eliminate that because they've done the blacksmith, and so they'll go in a different direction.
Well, or the castle would be a Black Falcon,
right?
Castle.
Or they tie it in. So I guess it depends on what direction you think they'd go in there.
Why are we keeping this castle in the bottom left? What's special about it?
The base plate and the fact that it's different than the castle in the
Let's get all this out of the way. Everyone in the chat, you're not getting a molded base plate. Let's get any
the base plate
out
is
of your head.
The most unique part of that castle, yeah. So if you eliminate the base plate, then there's really not too much special about that.
We'll nix the base plate, but the fact that the castle has towers, the fact that it came with all of those horses, and the fact that it came with all of the
hold on, but Jeff, the thing is, that is something that any castle set could do. What makes that theme, that castle line special compared to something else?
a lot of people that are 38 years old grew up with that castle. So a lot of people who see that castle will want that castle.
Well, right, but I think we're buttoned here, but we're not like understand. So like in terms of like a building style, what makes the black castle different from the gray castle, other than the base plate?
The detail of the roof, the pageantry of the flags, the detail that goes into how the buildings look. When you look at the gray castle, it's a gray castle. But when you look at the black castle, it's a black castle that has arches and windows and things like that. And it has all of those things that the gray castle doesn't. The black castle is more detailed.
Well, right, but that could be something that is changed with it being updated.
Sure.
This is a similar issue that we're going to get into with the space sets too, because a lot of these, they have like, they're very bright colors, they're very futuristic looking, but what makes one better over another?
Right. I mean, yeah, both of those themes, you're right, have very similar issues. I mean, just looking at the images here, both space and castle, it's like, how do you even choose between, a number of these? There is a lot of similarities.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like dismiss your arguments, Jeff. I'm just trying to think of it from like what could it bring to the table differently perspective, I guess. I don't like, to me there's a very distinct difference between the style of classic space compared to M-Tron, right? They look very different. But
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But to me, the two castles on the bottom left, they seem more similar than not overall. Maybe it's just because they're like the same shaped castle. I don't know. But we can leave it for now. In terms of space, Jeff, which one of these are you eliminating right out the gate?
Classic space.
No, you can't. No. You can't. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay.
There's no okay. But like,
but can't you say we got classic space with the Lego movie stuff, right? So
and we're getting space right now in 3-in-1 creator sets, which is basically updated classic spaceships. Fight me. I'm not wrong about this.
But we have had a lot of very similar sets. So I mean, it seems like of all these things, as far as stuff they've done recently, we have had classic space recently.
Yes, we have.
But that doesn't mean people won't still vote for it and make it one of the majority themes.
Oh, that'll happen regardless. Like what we think and what will happen are probably two different things here. So,
what about what are those two?
Space
Explorers?
Yeah, and the Sperians.
So I grew up with Explorians and I grew up with Spirus and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I don't see those being a thing at all. They're cool. They've got that great design and they're super fantastic. And dudes my age still get crazy about it because, oh my God, it's the Explorians and they're so great and I love them to pieces and blah, blah. But really, I mean, you can get that with an M-Tron set or a Space Police set or a M-Tron set. Because
that's what I was trying to convey with the castle.
Oh, I got it, Brian. I was just giving you a hard time the entire time.
So wait, which one of these am I? I can't even tell which one's which. Or maybe that's just me being young.
We're gonna get rid of the white and blue one and the black and red one.
All right, so this whole section's gone, ladies and
gentlemen.
Those
are definitely the more obscure space themes for sure.
So I'm too young. I don't know what is obscure from back in the day.
I'm just thinking, I didn't have these growing up, but I also base a lot of this off of what I've seen at shows like mocks and what people do, and I don't think either of those themes have seen hardly at all.
There's like 5 people that are jonesing for Ice Planet, and they're all on a Facebook page that I belong to. Literally, it's like, okay, we get it. And like I like building Ice Planet mocks. I've got a couple myself, but it's not one of those things where I'm like, well, I guess I really want this Ice Planet stuff again. So
Kevin said
pops and it's great, but besides that, okay.
Kevin said earlier in the chat that he chose that as his third because after Classic Space, he felt like that was the most popular of these other sub themes.
I agree with Kevin.
I don't know. I will say M-Tron, as far as going back to what I was saying about what you see at conventions, as far as like what people base mocks of, I think M-Tron is definitely the most popular if you're going off of what people use as inspiration for builds in the community. I've seen a number of very large M-Tron displays over the years, and it seems like that one out of all of these has really spawned a lot of like big fans and builds in the community.
Between the bricks in the chat, Jeff wearing a Classic Space shirt. Also, Jeff, cut Classic Space.
Actually, I'm wearing a Spaceman Spiff shirt from Calvin and Hobbes.
Actually, Dan. Actually.
And just because it looks a little familiar and you might think Classic Space.
Right. So of the adventure themes, or I don't know what you want to call them up here, this kind of row, I think the one to eliminate is this one in here, Extreme Team, right?
Yeah, who cares about Extreme Team?
All right.
Yeah, I think we've gotten a lot of stuff in that same vein in recent years, and yeah, it's not unique enough. There was some cool sets in that theme, but
now going back to Time Cruisers for a second, Jeff, I would love to see the wonkiness of Time Cruisers be a thing and how they would do it,
so
but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't live in La La Land. That'll never happen. I mean, as much as I'd be like, yeah, Time Cruisers has to be a thing for time travel adventures. No,
you would be satisfied with time traveling adventures if and when they come out with a UCS DeLorean. Isn't that right, Lego? Come on now.
The real question is, why isn't Ghostbusters on this list, right, Jeff?
Back to the Future is not that great a movie. I said it.
I think I have a great affinity for Rock Raiders, and
base plate aside,
I think there's some cool stuff that theme did, but we've also seen themes since then that have very much retread that idea.
Power Miners.
So I don't think that's going to make it, because we've had other like Power Miners and much more recent themes that actually had quite a number of sets in them that were the same idea. So it's just not that unique to bring back something like that in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, so I'm going to eliminate this one too. See, we're getting down here.
And so, just Classic Bricks, yes, this is the shirt that Fazoom designed.
Yes.
Sorry.
Just for full transparency here, none of my picks have been eliminated, by the way.
Oh, see, I was going to say, yeah, we haven't actually heard your picks yet, so
none of my picks have been eliminated. This Imperial thing, I think it's too close to Pirates, man.
That's why I didn't vote for it. Yeah, I love Imperial and I love Pirates, but we got the Barracuda Bay. To me, that's kind of had those types of themes covered, so let's get something else that is more unique.
Yeah.
This really looks atrocious with all this red. Sorry, John. My bad. Whoops.
It's working very well, really. It's narrowing things down for us.
Yeah, right. I want to eliminate one more of these space themes. What's this black one over here? What's this?
Wait, we have some late breaking news before we continue here, Brian.
This is all a trick, just trying to cover up that they're releasing a UCS stock. Flick. Don't tell them. Jeez. What's this black one over here?
That is Space Police.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Ooh,
people will vote for it. I guarantee it.
What about this black and yellow one?
That's Blacktron. Keep that as well.
Yeah, Blacktron is popular. I feel like between Blacktron and Space Police, Blacktron is more popular.
Yes.
So if you had to eliminate one, I think Space Police would be the one to eliminate out of those two.
All right. What about
Joshua? I agree completely.
Aquazone? Yes, no? I think out.
Keep it. Keep it.
Keep it?
Keep it.
All right. So I'm going to eliminate Space Police, all right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's out. So I'm going to make the case because, none of my picks I don't think have been eliminated.
Wow.
Okay?
Look at you.
Still. Because I'm just that in touch with what people
Wow.
want from Lego.
Or you're rigging it because you're the one with the Photoshop here.
Hey, but no. I think we've eliminated like all the ones that are either kind of repetitive or Lego has done recently and everything else.
Also,
So-
you created a new idea for some future merch here, Brian.
The advent calendar. There we go. Jensen, you're not getting a cut. So the way I look at this, let's talk the big kahuna that the kids won't shut up about. This guy over here. First of all, what a give me the full screen here. Whoever put together the images on the ideas blog to get all these themes in one go, What an absolutely horrific image you chose for Bionicle. That is a personal call out to you, sir or madam or whoever.
I will say real quick. Addressing this point, shout out to Andrew Boltop from BZ Power, very well known in the Bionicle community. He made that same point that you just made on the Lego Ambassador Network, and one of the ideas people responded and said these were the photos that he was sent for that post. So I don't know who made the decision on what photos were chosen, but the person who actually made the post didn't decide. They just used the photos that they were sent. But I agree, certainly not the best representation. I will stick up for the Bionicle fans here, which I know I don't do real often.
Yeah,
and
100%.
They got a little undercut with that photo there.
100%. Disgusting photo. Whoever's job it was, and again, it's not the person who posted it. Whoever decided that was the picture, awful job, horrendous job. You knocked it out of the park with all the rest of these. Awful. So let's get that out of the way. Secondly,
that's pretty accurate to me.
Wow. So secondly, Kevin says that I'm saying I'm so in touch with the overall Lego fan. No, listen, I just have a knack for these things. Shut up, Kevin. You're old news. So the thing is, with this Bionicle set here, the thing that I believe Bionicle fans want, now correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, is that they want Bionicle to come back as full force as it possibly can be with the building system that Bionicle is known for. So if they came out with that Lego Ideas set for the 20th anniversary of Bionicle, that is a system Bionicle set that would not be the point of coming out with a Bionicle set. They want the joints, they want the blah, 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 blah. And because Lego doesn't want to manufacture all those parts, in that case, for a particular Ideas set, they're like, no, we're not going to do it. And also Bionicle fans want all new parts to work with to add on to their creations. And I don't think one set for one character or whatever they would come up with in a Bionicle system style Technic set would do it justice. They're not going to come out with a $20 Bionicle set and call it a day. So I don't see how that could justify being made for the 90th anniversary at all.
Or we could just accept the fact that they tried Bionicle, they even re-released it and everything. It didn't work, and we can move on because that's what adults do.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow. Wow.
I've been waiting to say that for a long time.
Wow.
Joshua, you and I just became bestest friends in the whole wide world. Which is a blessing and a curse, just so you know.
Yeah, Ben says that, I think it's Jang who recently said that Bionicle, they would want it to be vintage, and Lego would never accept it. Right. I think that's it. I think a lot of it is nostalgia based with the canister that you crack open, and it's the very simplistic or minimalist rather Bionicle characters, and you're never going to get that canister ever again because of the environment. Like, that's awful, horrendous for the environment. It's going to be a box just like it was last time. So get over that. I don't think it could do justice as a 90th anniversary at all.
No.
I think, like Kevin said, it'll get the votes. I think it'll be top 3. And I do think that there is something for Lego coming out with a one-off and done original 6 lineup, remastered, kind of like what they did before, but they messed it up according to Bionicle fans. Do it one final time, and then Lego can be like, you kids better shut up now, you hear me? And then that's it.
But they won't. That's the thing.
They
won't. You can't do anything. There's just no pleasing them.
So for those reasons, I think Bionicle will get the votes, but I don't think we'll make it as a set. But that is what I would vote for. That would be one of my votes, is that.
Oh.
Just because I think of any of these Lego themes that are on here or were on here, Bionicle does represent a lot to Lego, and I think it does have value to the back catalog of Lego.
So wait, are you saying, Brian, that gets you your vote for what you think will be made, or what you personally of all these themes would like to see made?
In terms of what I would like to see made, I would love to see an original 6 lineup of Bionicle as a one-off finale. Maybe I'm just voting for it for the memes, honestly. I'm not even whatever.
No, that I can appreciate. I can get behind that.
Now,
Has
I'll
Brenda been whispering things in your ear, Brian? Is that what's happening right now?
a lot of sweet, succulent honey. Lots of honey from Brenda.
Look, man, you can't let
Brenda?
your girlfriend pollute your mind about your own interests, all right?
Okay. So the main theme, I'm going to push for the thing that I absolutely unequivocally think that should be the 90th anniversary set. I think this theme is the most malleable in terms of what you can do with it. It scratches something that Lego hasn't tackled in quite a long time, an original theme that is just a very cool concept, and you could keep rolling with it in general. I agree with Joshua that it absolutely has to be Adventurers right here. Has to be.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
100%.
Now you're talking some sense.
Because you get Johnny Thunder, you get like ancient temples, you can get like pyramids, you could do whatever you wanted to do with Johnny Thunder and all that. It doesn't need to be Orient Expedition. It just needs to be something like crazy cool and out of the box. Like that to me.
You can make Indiana Jones like sets without having to get a license for it.
Right. But I mean, they might come out with Indiana Jones sets because Disney and Indy 5, that could be a thing. But I don't know. Apparently, we lost all the Facebook viewers 2 hours ago. Whoops. I don't know how that happened, John. Whoops. My bad. Is this something
I think that's a reference to how in-depth we're going with these themes, and the general fandom on Facebook doesn't quite follow as much.
True.
But no, I agree, Brian. That's always been the beautiful thing about Adventures for me is just how flexible it is. You can go anywhere in the world. You can have such unique and diverse and interesting minifigures and settings. And I think for me, as a kid growing up with that's the kind of thing that I think inspired so much interest in like travel and history for me as an adult, is that sort of stuff when I was a kid. So I would love to see them do more with that.
And I think Lego knows that, and that is quintessential Lego as well, is inspiring that creativity in a way that a lot of these other themes that we've eliminated have not, and that there is so much room to do so much with it that if they made a $200 adventurer set, that to me would most accurately represent the 90th anniversary of Lego in one go, one set, a big set, that's it. Or a classic, I think between adventurers, a classic space theme of some kind, whether it's, you want to call it Ice Planet, M-Tron, I don't care, and then a castle theme of some kind. One of those three, if you did all three, bam, you're good. And then I would vote Bionicle for the lulz.
I think M-Tron for the space stuff, it gets my vote. I mean, I'm not a big space fan. I'm not familiar with a lot of these, but if I had to take one guess, I would say M-Tron would be the space one that would get it.
Can I ask why?
Basically for the reasons that I explained earlier. I feel like of all of these here, well, classic space obviously is super popular, but like we were talking about earlier, we've gotten a lot of that from the Lego movie and everything.
Yeah.
So besides classic space, I think M-Tron definitely, from my years in the Lego community, what I've seen at shows, talking to builders, seems to be the most loved and has inspired the most builds and just the most passion around it in terms of what people really want to take and make builds out of and go places with, basically.
Well, that's the thing. So I wasn't there, but you were there. This is for conventions and everything else. Is that if there was a Blacktron moon base or whatever, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's always an M-Tron one right across from it or near it or combined with it too. And I wasn't like poo-pooing on you, like, why do you think that? But no, I agree with you because M-Tron has always been present, and like that's still one of the things that even is still built today by a lot of builders. Like builders will go crazy for M-Tron because the magnets and everything else, and they like the idea of like the working class spaceman, which is basically M-Tron. You know, so
real quick, I wanna bring up something. So with studios specifically, what makes studio what makes studio so special about it, other than the fact that you could put cameras on the Lego set and it's a studio set?
Oof.
I mean, that is what's special, I guess. I mean, that the whole idea of it's like you're shooting a movie, that is what's unique about it.
Well, why couldn't you do that with an adventure set or literally any other set ever?
Because the same reason that kids won't combine action figures, because it's not part of the same theme.
Right. I mean, I guess I think the whole point is it's marketed as like you're making a movie. But right, I agree. You could throw cameras onto almost anything and say that same thing, but it's not how the sets were designed.
So like those sets were designed so that aspiring Lego builders, such as Kirk Wilson over there, could get an idea of what a set, either Lego or physical, could be, so that if you wanted to, you could take the next step and go into stop motion. Those sets were great for that because they came with the action features and things like that. And I just dropped a potted plant. And it was unique for its time, because I remember when those came out, and I remember, Spider-Man 2 came out for it, and I didn't care. But the monster movie and like everything else, the dinosaur chasing and stuff like that, that got my brain working when I was a kid. And that got me wanting to, make a stop motion film and do what they did in Empire Strikes Back with the AT-ATs and everything else, just because of that. So I think it was a good educational tool for the aspiring filmmakers such as Kirk Wilson.
One thing I want to do, if you want to go back to the full screen here, I did manage to like zoom in and all that. I would like to eliminate this castle. And the only reason is because Lego has gotten rid of this ghost mold and they're not making it again. And I don't understand why, glow in the dark aside. So if they can't pull off the ghost for this set here, don't make the set.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. So I unfortunately am going to have to agree with you on that basis and that basis alone, Brian.
I also think that the thing that's most unique about that castle, and I think, Jeff, you maybe alluded to this earlier, is definitely the like regalia, the minifigs, the horses, just how like you compare the minifigs and the horses and everything to the other castle sets, and they're definitely more sort of advanced and colorful and decorated in that set. But is that enough? Putting the castle aside and just looking at the minifigs, I don't know if that's enough to put it over these other themes.
It's not, and I want it to be, but it's not.
Well,
and people get like that about everything that they love or they really enjoy or whatever. They want theirs to be, present and accounted for. It's like all the Bionicle fans for the last 10 years.
So with this logic in mind, can we eliminate the Robin Hood-esque thing? Because I feel like you could attach bridges to a castle thing and have the trees. Like, what is it about that?
Robin Hood.
Right. I think that it's more right. It's not so much. I mean, the sets are cool, and I think you've got, some uniqueness there in the fact that they're living in trees and hideouts and stuff. But I think there's just so much interest in a Robin Hood type story and theme out there. I mean, you've seen that, for centuries now, how those types of stories are popular with people. And I think they also just translate so well into Lego with those sets. I think that there is definitely a lot of uniqueness there to that.
Well, this is so Steven in the chat from Facebook is saying this, and this is what I'm saying. They could add details to the other castle sets, though. So what if there was a section of a giant $300 castle where there's a Robin Hood figure going down the side of the castle to rob the gold of the castle to give to the peasants?
That sounds really familiar, like it was already said by somebody that's not you.
What?
Oh, I'm just saying that I said that.
So we can eliminate that. Like, what else makes it?
I mean, I still say it's unique to have the dedicated hideout sets and everything. And I think that it's very different than your typical like gray castle sets, as amazing as those are. I think it does bring a very different element. But I also, you could just have, a couple Robin Hood's men at a castle stealing something. But it's definitely not the same thing as a full theme with the hideout sets and, little spots in trees to put men and all of that sort of stuff.
Okay,
it's like this. So Star Wars Return of the Jedi, there's two major scenes that take place on planets there, right? There's Endor and then there's Tatooine.
They're very different,
like
right?
The Ewoks and putting them on Tatooine.
You're okay. I get you. Yep. So, okay, with this logic that I keep trying to convey and then I keep failing at, or rather you guys are explaining to me that I'm thinking incorrectly about it. With the Black Falcon thing, is it a similar thing where you could just put Black Falcon stuff on this castle and call it a day? Can we eliminate this?
You could, right. With that, you could. I mean, those are very similar gray castles, right. I agree with that.
So this is good. There's these two left. I want this for space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which one of the Ice Planet is not involved in this, right? Or like what?
So it's Ice Planet.
Is Ice Planet space or no? It's not.
Yes, Ice Planet is space.
All right, so two of these got to go.
To me, going back to again my experience at conventions and everything, it's Blacktron, Mtron, and Ice Planet. I would say Blacktron and Mtron are the two more popular out of those. So I would say Ice Planet would be eliminated from my experience.
You hear that, Fazoom? Classic space, it's gone, buddy. Sorry, man.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right, Joshua. Like, besides, so classic space at conventions, like I said, I have not been there, but I have watched hours and hours of you and whoever else, blah, 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 you know? And it's either a moon base, a Blacktron base, or an Mtron base. But we're seeing less and less moon bases, and we're seeing more and more Blacktron and Mtron. And quite frankly, it sounds like you're really bored when you see those. I'm just saying. Maybe some love for it, Joshua.
The Zoom in the chat says this is the worst Doodle stream ever. And when he's gonna hate it when I put a nice big fat red X over this classic space thing.
Real quick to Fazoom, if I would be interested, do you feel like, and Fazoom is what I would say, the number one space expert in the community, always the person I turn to for that. Do you feel like, as a big space fan, that from Lego Movie and everything else, you've gotten classic space sets that kind of fill that for you at all? Or do you still feel like you would vote for the straight classic space theme because you need more of that?
Put your bias aside, Chris. Put your bias aside. Think of the greater good of the people.
I also like what Kevin says here about how this is 100 times more in depth than the real meeting that they'll have about this.
You know what? That's just more proof that they should send us to Denmark, Kevin. We can do all the debating for them.
I would love to go to Denmark with you guys under the Beyond the Brick flag and then get arrested at one point. I'm just saying.
Jeff will get arrested together. Why can we not eliminate this Aqua thing? What's the deal?
Aquanauts is a very unique theme. It's the Seatron we never got.
Underwater themes can be very popular. I mean, there's a reason Lego consistently does them. I mean, there's so much cool stuff you can do with under the water, aesthetic themes. So, I mean, I think there is a lot of pull for that.
So the same reason that Adventures is still up there. You can do a lot of fun stuff under the sea. And Aquanauts was the first ones that, as far as I remember, the Aquanauts and the Aquazone business, they were the first ones to be like, well, SeaQuest is big right now. How can we cash in on this? So they made, that.
Okay, so between Blacktron and Mtron, which one is going? We gotta eliminate some. We gotta.
But there is one thing I want to say though, in regards to like the sea thing.
Wait, Kirk is talking.
Hey,
oh my goodness!
I'm gonna address.
Did you raise your hand first, Kirk?
No, I'm not going to either. I saw what was going on in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt because of the fact that I can't say too much about this stuff because I don't know that much about it. But in regards to the deep sea sort of set, the Aquazone set, isn't there the slight chance that they might not go with that due to the fact that City kind of takes care of that already? Isn't there that possibility or no?
No.
I think we have, Maniac for Bricks just pointed out in the chat. He says we did just have ocean exploration in City. So I will say there have been similar themes of, on the water, under the water type of stuff that they've done in City in recent years. So
that's why I'm just worried, maybe that might not be a possibility at all. Just due to that fact. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Jeff. You see, that's why I didn't want to say. I didn't want to rain on anyone's parade. I'm just saying.
You're raining on my parade.
Due to that, I'm just
walking through the fair, and I'm going, it's a beautiful day. I love this day. Look how great this is. And then a torrential downpour of Kirk Wilson's anti-enthusiasm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know.
You're not build your little Spider-Man mock or whatever it is.
I'll circle back.
I don't know.
Circle back to my question to Chris Fazoom in the chat, and he did say he still wants more Classic Space because when Classic Space came out, it was a huge change for Lego and Lego sets. I don't really see how that's super relevant. I mean, when it first came out, I can see what you're saying, but we've had it now. We had more with the Lego Movie stuff. I don't think it's going to be a massive change to bring it back out now because the whole point is this is like a throwback to an old theme. But I know you're a big fan, Chris, so I see what you're saying there. but I'd like to see them do something more unique. And I know Brian just left, but I think he was right before he left. He was saying we have to choose between Blacktron and Mtron. So Jeff, what is your vote in that final two there?
Man. So that's a tough question for me.
While you're thinking, I'm going to stick to my guns. What I've been saying all along, I think Mtron is the most likely. So if I had to eliminate one of those, I'd go with Blacktron. But go ahead.
Counterpoint. So Blacktron has always been the cooler color scheme as far as people that build those big moon bases and stuff goes. Also, they don't do magnets anymore. So I think I'm going to have to go with Blacktron for the fact that that is more feasible than Mtron would be.
That is a logical point.
I would love to see both, but
I don't appreciate you bringing those logical points into this argument, Jeff, but you do make a good point about the magnets because that was like key to Mtron. So without that,
absolutely not going to do magnets, 100%.
Well, that could make Mtron difficult then. From that,
so then we're getting rid of Mtron.
I guess so. I guess we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know magnets were a thing.
They were a big part of Mtron.
No,
so
absolutely not. The only time Lego has used magnets in the past 10 years, 20 years has been trains. So no.
Yep. And then we also eliminated Ice Planet, I think earlier. Did you not?
Okay. Ice Planet, my bad.
I think Blacktron is definitely the more popular.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back to studio here real quick. Is this still something we can keep on the table? Can anyone in the stream or in the chat defend studio?
I can't really defend it. The only reason why I think it has a possibility just because of like how unique of a, I guess, set it would be in terms of like the idea. I mean, personally for me, like if I was to see something like that, I guess like it's something that I would want to buy just because like the whole movie aspect and then like the sort of behind the scenes aspect that they're going with. So I find that appealing, but I don't know about anyone else. That's just me.
Real quick, two things involving the chat. Tricky Bricks, thank you for hanging out. If you guys are around and want to be on one of these streams one day, let us know. We'll make it happen. And secondly, in terms of people appearing in the live stream, Kevin's doing an awful lot of talking. And he's not in here. So
that's true. That is very true.
Awful lot of talking. Well, who's going to draw stuff? What you come? Get in here. Make yourself known. All right.
Kevin, you're welcome to join. If you need the link, feel free.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to because he's drawing. Because Kevin's a coward. Okay. He's a coward. He wants to hide behind his screen and draw his little Zelda.
I need someone to vocally call me out when I'm not talking, Kevin. So you need to get just do that. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I see your point that you made earlier, Brian, about how you can throw cameras on anything and turn it into a studio set, but I still think it's like it's very unique to market it that way as like studio. These sets are like you're making a movie. So I think there's a lot of uniqueness there that makes it cool.
Yeah, but I feel like there could be something if let's say they ended up going with Adventures and then they had a camera set up.
You could have like a documentary crew with the Adventurers sets. That would be awesome, actually. That would be super cool.
So like I could circle both of them. Like, hey, Lego, let's just put these two together. So we're down to two space themes, two castle themes. Bionicle is not going to happen. Can we all agree? Not going to happen.
You mean they won't make a set, or it's not gonna get the votes?
They're not gonna make the set. They don't get the votes. They won't make the set.
That I would tend to agree. That does seem to be the general thoughts out there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. See, Kevin's too busy making stickers instead of defending his honor in the chat. So, all right, that's fine. He's a responsible adult. Sorry, LJ Johnson. Rest in pepperoni. Lewa will not see his day today. So. I like this list, though. I really do. The only one I don't like is Aquazone. It's the only one.
What I was saying earlier before you left was like, I don't know the possibility of it happening just due to the fact that like City and the Deep Sea stuff.
And
So
because
yeah, so we were talking about that while you were gone, that they have had like under the water deep sea city stuff, so that would be a reason to eliminate that, because we have as we pointed out with some of these other themes, they've done stuff with it recently, kind of like Rock Raiders, Power Minders type of stuff.
Okay. Why would they put Bionicle on there if they had the intent to make it? Won't that just upset fans? I feel like Bionicle is a passionate enough fan base, and I think is relevant enough in Lego's mind that if they didn't, they know they would face the lashback from it. And if they did have every intention of making it, I would, and I'm not going to know this because I don't work at Lego and I don't have connections like that, but I would love to see what a designer or the team had in mind if they were ever going to do a one-off of Bionicle. What would that look like? Would it be one set of 6? Would it be a small product line? Would it be a system set, a Technic-based set? What would that look? I'm very curious to see what it would look like, but I have no idea. They don't pay me enough money. Nobody pays me at all to think of ideas like that. So
look, you know what the Bionicle fans are in the Lego community? Karen.
No. Oh,
Karen. Mr. Lego Man, my son likes these Bionicle robot creatures with the masks. They don't have those anymore, and little Joey really wants them. I really need this back. Please give them back to us. Please, Mr. Lego Man.
It's so true, though. I mean, I think that I know, like, Bionicle fans have never liked me and probably Beyond the Brick because of that, and I'm sure they think we should cover way more Bionicle stuff at conventions. But that's just how you feel when talking to Bionicle fans. It's that feeling, and it's like, come on. I mean,
I love Joshua. I love how polarizing you are on this topic. I love it. I love this energy. I love it.
This is my favorite thing Joshua has ever talked about. I've been watching your channel for years, and usually it's like, well, this is on in the background. Tell me more why you hate this thing, please.
I mean, I've felt this way for a while, but I don't say it too much because I know there are a lot of Bionicle fans out there. And, you know, we go to a lot of shows, so we try to keep a good relationship with people. But that's just how I feel. You know, that there's nothing I can do about it.
I feel a kind of similar way, and I talk to who I deem in my head as the king / ringleader of the Bionicle fans, and that's LJ Johnson. All right, incredibly good host and just a good guy overall. And I've been on his show a couple of times, and I'm gonna do more stuff with him over time. And when I talk to him as somebody who is so deeply invested in Bionicle, where on the TTV channel, they go into like adding to the Bionicle lore by coming up with new characters. And it's like, all right, but there's people watching and people that care. But even when I talk to him, I messaged him and I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm voting for a Bionicle. And he's like, oh, they're not going to make it. No, absolutely not. But it'd be funny. And I'm like, well, you're right. So if he's the ringleader, the king of Bionicle in the community that I've deemed in my head, and he's like, nah, no, they're not.
Who else has ringleaders, Brian?
What?
Criminals. There's always a criminal ringleader, mastermind.
Well, then it's LJ Johnson of the Bionicle community.
Criminals, so therefore, nix on the Bionicle.
Shout out to Jonathan Strickland for being a Bionicle fan and a fan of Beyond the Brick. We do appreciate that. I don't think there's a lot, but we appreciate you being here.
All right, so Isabella brought up a very cool point, and I lost it. So here it is. If you want to throw this up on the big screen at 128. In my opinion, Bionicle was so popular because they were small-scale sets, ergo easier to collect and store. But shoot me down for being a Karen, Jeff. Not all of us have super Lego rooms. First things first, that's okay if you don't have a super Lego room. I don't have a super Lego room either. This is my Lego command center. Big difference. Huge difference. But you're right. They were easy to get because they were at a price point for some families. And I understand that struggle and everything else. And yeah, they had some creative outflow for it. And in its own respect, Bionicle did some great things for Lego, like save the company. But besides that, you had your time. It was great. Thanks. Bye. It's like when you go on a date with somebody and you don't really want to go on the date with somebody, but you're like, okay, I guess I'll do this. And then afterwards, you're like, okay, I'll see you later. Well, do you want to call me later? No. Like, it was great. Thanks for the good time, but this just isn't going to work. And maybe that needs to happen again right now. I don't know.
No, it's so true though. And Kevin, I think, makes this point as well, where he says, people forget that Bionicle helped save the Lego company. It was wildly successful. It lasted for 11 years. And I agree. I don't dispute any of that. And that's why I'm always like, why do you complain so much? So why is the fan base like so awful to have a conversation with so much of the time when you had 11 years and it saved the company? Like, be happy. Like, you had this.
You just said the Bionicle fan base is so awful to talk. John, I love you so much. I love you so much. Oh my God. And listen, I'm not saying I agree. I've had plenty of Bionicle discussions that aren't toxic. This isn't a dig at the Bionicle community at all, and not even a little bit. But if they're not going to come out with if they came out with one $20 set, Bionicle fans want the system to come back. You're not going to be satisfied. So it's just not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's just not. Like, you can't.
Kevin says Joshua's drinking at every point.
Here we go. Here we go. That's it.
If you want to know the real truth, it's just because I've been holding it in for so long, and this was just the opportunity, and I couldn't take it any longer. That's the real truth.
That's fair.
So I don't blame people for wanting this to come back. Okay, like, I really don't.
Yeah.
Truth be told, that one good date that you had with Glenda, I'm sure went well. And maybe after a few years, you think, maybe I'll call her again and see what she's doing. But then you find out Glenda lives in a trailer. Not that there's anything wrong with living in a trailer. Has 3 kids and is surrounded by cats. And has like 3 ex-boyfriends in a truck. And she's waiting for that insurance check to come on through.
Jeff,
I'm just saying.
You just hit all the nerves. You just described like 3 of my friends from childhood. You really just did. It's incredible.
There's nothing wrong with cats either.
No, cats are fine.
Cat.
You got to meow it out, man.
You got to meow it out. That's right.
So I get real quick. Building Spring Lantern Festival, destroying Bionicle hopes and dreams. Great show. All that and more on the Quarantine Cast. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern.
I'm sorry. I'm probably never going to come back on this.
No, you are. Listen, this is exactly why I wanted you on here. So
it's just so. All right. Here's the stupidest thing ever. Okay.
Here we go.
So, as a mock builder, I build mocks from time to time.
Hold on. Wait, real quick, Jeff. I'm sorry. Brick Czar is here. We eliminated Trains first. I'm sorry, man.
Trains got out of here as soon as we could.
Somewhere behind the red.
It derailed.
It's Brick Czar. It's somewhere in here, man. It's right.
It's one right there. Yeah.
That was the first one to go, man. I'm sorry.
Brian was just like, you know what? Nope, Trains, that's not happening. Sorry, Bricksar. And you weren't even here.
That's literally rewind the tape. I'm sorry.
That's exactly how it happened. He was just like, nope, that's not happening. Sorry, Bricksar.
It was that instant replay of crushing dreams. Fantastic. So like as much as I'm, this is gonna sound so hypocritical. As much as I love nostalgia factor and things like that, I mean, for God's sakes, I've got 1980s action figures on my wall, and I've got Hot Wheels from the last 20 years. I don't care about older Lego sets as much as the next guy will. And there's some people that are older or younger than me that are like, I want to relive those glory days of whatever X theme, okay? And I get it, and I understand it, and I'm like, okay. But if you want those themes and if you want those things, then just look it up and build it.
Right.
Like, we have an interchangeable block system for a reason. Lego's the largest tire manufacturer in the world for a reason. You can do all those things. You can build those things, and then you have those things, and then you go, I have this Galaxy Explorer now. There's Bricklink. There's all of these things that you can do to get the parts, to get the pieces, to build your inspiration of what you think a new X, Y, or Z will look like. I mean, for gosh sakes, there's neoclassic space. There's Neo Blacktron. There's Neo this, Neo. It's new. It's Neo Adventurers. It's whatever. And like,
the thing is,
I get it. I totally get it. It's not for me.
I want to see 5 Lego sets come out for the 90th anniversary that have the same level of detail and consideration that Pirates of Barracuda Bay got, where there's new parts, it's bigger, it's shinier, it is relevant not only to the older fans, but also to newer markets as well. Why you could do that if we go back to the main page here. You could do that for every single one of these, and I think they would sell in some capacity. Maybe you combine Adventurers and Studio in some way, combine these two, but like, you know, Classic Space, Blacktron, Castle, Robin Hood. You have those 4 sets, bam, you're good.
Here's what I would do if I were a marketing guy from Lego. Okay, here's what I would do. Every year, I would pick a theme, get out my darts, throw it at the wall, and go, we're going to rebuild this.
Jeff, every year for 10 years between now and 2031.
Right. Give us that 100-year whatever. Okay.
Big set.
You know, and then like, hey, here's a $300 space set. Here's a $300 castle set. Here's a $300 adventure set.
You know what?
$300 Beyond Bionicle set.
At the rate that Lego is coming out with these ridiculously massive sets right now, they did it for Ninjago. They're going to do it for this 90th anniversary thing. Barracuda Bay could have been for 2020, right? Once a year for 10 years.
Let's keep it going. No, that would be amazing. Yeah, if we could get
did it twice for
large sets of that quality.
That's your fault. But I mean, they did it twice for 2020.
And that's a great set too. I haven't built that yet.
I get it. Like, I love it. It's everything in the world. But like, I'm not saying that I hate Lego themes. I'm not saying any of that. So if you want to take that out of context, that's on you, not Jeff. What I'm saying is that the past is golden because we choose to let it be golden. We don't choose because, like, when we followed those instructions back in the day, it wasn't as easy as it was today, okay? And there's nothing wrong with the instructions of today or yesteryear or whatever. But if Lego really wanted to cash in on this nostalgia thing, once a year, boom, big bad set from a popular theme, and go from there. And I understand the need of wanting space. I'm so sick of Star Wars, I could care. I don't care about it anymore. Like, it's almost ruined my love for Star Wars with the fact that you have to spend all this money, you have to spend all this to get, you know, a UCS set of a Millennium Falcon. Who cares? You know? I mean, there's going to be people that do it. There's going to be people that go out and look for the 501st Battle Pack so they can build their army and then have a bunch of speeders and walkers left over. It's just going to be one of those things that's always going to happen. And I get it. It's just, that's not my mindset. That's never going to be my mindset of buy multiples of this set so that I can do this, or buy. Yeah, it's just consumerism as a whole is a problem. That's it. No more ranting. I'm sorry. I didn't need to.
So I love the combining studios, adventures, documentary film crew idea we hit on. I think that's the number one thing I want to see come out of this. I don't know how, but that would be about a dream theme for me right there.
I would love it.
Remind me of the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland when you've got like the film going through, like, oh, India and I found this, and it's like a documentary of how they found the tent. That'd be awesome for adventurers. Like, they usually had a camera with them, so like. One of the guys is like, well, here we are with Johnny Thunder as we're going through this Pharaoh's. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. So you should build a mock of that.
Yeah, and Isabel is backing me up with a set counting down to the 100th anniversary is actually a brilliant idea. I know, I'm just so smart, right? It's actually incredible. She also says, come for the Spring Lantern Festival, leave because of the Bionicle, and then come back for the psychological deep dive. Welcome to Beyond the Brick.
Yes. You know, we give it all here. You know, that's our goal with these streams.
All of the good, all of the bad, and all of the spice.
You don't have to agree. You know, it's just we put it out there for you.
But we can all agree that Bionicle is not becoming the 90th set. Not.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
I'm never ever going to tell somebody they're an idiot for liking what they like. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's Bionicle.
So, My official vote to capstone that is going to be for Adventurers, Blacktron, and whatever that middle castle is at the bottom.
Okay.
That's what I would say it would be. And I would I can literally see it. I can see it more vividly than I can see the UCS Peaches Castle, seeing a 90th anniversary branded adventurer set with a small film crew-esque thing reminiscent of Studio in a nice big $200 set with 2,763 pieces. I can just see it.
I'd go for that in a heartbeat, if I'm being honest.
Laying out my dreams right there, Brian.
Yep. I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this has been a great stream working through this. Thanks for putting the graphic together. Your artwork was impeccable, Brian.
Hey,
this
thanks,
has been good to work through some things here.
So my official pick will be this right here. And I think everyone can agree, like, Adventurers, it has so much going on with it one way or another. But I really do think let's go with Blacktron. If that was the space set, let's go with that and give us a $300-$400 castle. I think those three you could whittle down to be like the ultimate 3 Lego sets right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to, but I agree with you.
But I still like the color scheme of Classic Space being trans yellow, blue, gray, but I think Blacktron is more iconic.
And yeah, we haven't gotten. I mean, we've gotten the Classic Space stuff from Lego Movie and everything. I think it'd be cool to get something in different colors, a theme that is still much loved by a lot of people. Blacktron, I think, has a lot of potential.
Milan is asking, will we be able to buy prints of this masterpiece? I may list them on my Etsy shop. We can get the whole Beyond the Brick crew, or at least the 4 of us to sign them, and John.
10%,
Brian.
10%.
Yeah, 10% each. Yeah.
10%.
Brick Czar says, I can't be disappointed with that, so it's surely going to be something different. Right.
Of course, that's the problem.
It's not going to be monorail. It's not going to be trains. I'm sorry, Jabbo. I'm sorry, man.
So here's the thing, is that, Jabbo, if you want to be disappointed, just talk to Kirk Wilson for more than 10 minutes about any hopes and dreams you have.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's still on the deep sea thing at Aqua Zone. I'm sorry, man.
No, I'm not still on it. I'm just saying that's who you are as a person.
Yeah.
It's Kirk, Crusher of Dreams, Destroyer of Souls, Wilson.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Vision bricks, because he wants to see your visions destroyed.
Yes.
Actually, Joseph Zawada has a point. All this said, it's going to be a city set. It's going to be a town plan.
They're just going to ruin it, aren't they? They're gonna release the most boring city set ever. It's just going to ruin everything.
Hey, guys, you want a dump truck that has 200 pieces, but it's $70? Here you go.
Here's your 300th tune-up garage, guys. Enjoy. Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
All this, and then they secretly revealed that none of
Don't
those
ruin this
things,
for us, Lego.
just all the things that they listed. That's not even what they're planning on making. They're going to bring back Galador, and no one's going to see it coming.
That's going to make Boone pretty happy. So
at least Galador is something different. I'd take that over a city set. I mean, at least it's something different.
Yeah. So that went on far longer than I thought it would.
No, it went on as long as it needed to. I think we had a lot to work through there. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, it was like 30 different things, and like there's that whole discussion. So,
yeah. You guys want to talk about Avatar and food now? Is that how this usually goes, or?
Well, I mean, it can, but we usually go deep dive on the Lego Ideas streams too. Talking about those. But
hey, by the way, that interview you did with the Ferrari guy.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed that. Really did. I watched it afterwards, but I wanted to send you some questions, but I didn't think that some of them would be appropriate, so I took not to it.
I really tried to bring in all of the comments, which there has been a lot of passion on that set in the community. I tried to cover all that and at least give him a chance to address it. Now, I don't think fans were happy necessarily with his answers, but it gave him the opportunity to address it and give the Lego designer perspective on what was going on there. So I hope that's what people got out of it.
I agree with you completely. Like, every Lego fan on the planet up to a point is like, this is what I want. Why aren't they doing this? Ma'am.
That is a fantastic transition if we want to give some get more content potentially. Hey there, John, you hear that? You hear that? The blacksmith shop was just unveiled,
Which was beautiful, by the way.
today. But it's also going back on that same the thing you were just talking about, Jeff, where a fan designer or something might pop up, but then fans also get the expectation of what they want as opposed to what is actually going to be presented as the final model. So I know for Beyond the Brick, I did not get the review. I think you probably sent it to the speed build guy, right?
Yeah, right. He has it.
Look,
it's not something I inherently want, but it is very cool. It's very, very cool.
Here's the thing about that blacksmith shop that has people enraged, because we follow the same circles. We're all in the same circles, whether we comment or lurk or whatever. That dude got to work with Lego directly and was like, hey, what do we got to do to make this work? And then they did it, and now we have it. So like everybody that's like, it's so far from the fans' design, he worked with them to make it happen. Like, show of hands. Who here has worked with Lego before to make a set happen? No. Hey. So, like, just be happy with it. Like, that's a great looking set.
It's beautiful.
Cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, you got the figures there. You got the updated Black Falcon folks. You got the awesome blacksmith with a fantastic beard. You've got the lady that doesn't take any nonsense. She's armed after all. I mean, what could go wrong?
And see, the thing with the initial fan design model is that it was a CG model as well. So who knows how that would have actually worked in practicality, structure-wise as well.
Oh, it was a render?
Say it again?
It was a render?
It was a render, yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this is very colorful. I didn't realize it until I saw the designer video, but on the very top, that's like a mossy roof. That's pretty cool. I like that detail.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you think of that set? Somebody in the chat, Golden Light Pictures was asking you what you think. What are your personal thoughts on it?
I think this is absolutely fantastic. I loved the original submission. I also love this set. Yeah, it's different in ways, though I think it also captures a lot of the core elements of the original design. So I think they really did a pretty good job there. Yeah, I think the details are great. Like you were saying, like the moss on the roof. I always love seeing buildings with like big stone chimneys like that. I think that's a cool element design and adds a lot to it. The tree looks really nice. And then bringing back the Black Falcons minifigs is, I think, super cool. So, yeah, as someone who wants more castle and thinks, a castle medieval themes can do well, I think this is a great step in the right direction. I also think it's really cool. We've kind of come full circle now from Dan Siskin, who created the first ever fan designed Lego kit, was a blacksmith shop now 20 years ago. So I think it's cool that kind of a nice throwback to that as well. And the kit that he designed. So I love it. I'd love to see him do more like this.
All right. So Baker Nation says something great at 148. Maybe it's 248 your guys' time. Some Lego fans can never be happy no matter how good the set is. And I think that's absolutely right. And that is an awesome point that you brought up, Joshua, with Dan Siskin, the Brickmania guy, for those that live under a rock. He was the first person to be like, I got this thing, I want to do this thing, and yada shmata, right? And then it happened. Might not have been 100% to spec, but you know what? It still happened. And that's awesome. And like to see this kind of stuff evolve over the last 10 years or 20 years is great. I'm all for it. Like when the Back to the Future, not the Back to the Future card, the Ecto 1 came out for Lego Ideas, right? I was first in line at San Diego Comic-Con to buy it. No problem. No hesitation. And from what I've seen of the pictures of the original creator and blah, 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 and like, I think when I was younger, I was disappointed. But now that I'm older and now that I think of it as like, this is like respect because I'm doing this because people have done this. And that's a whole nother thing entirely. So yeah, it's cool. It's great.
I think the only idea set that people have any right to complain about Lego not representing it accurately is the DeLorean when that came out for Kuso. The curvature on the front of the DeLorean, not good.
It is. It's Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
And I've seen plenty of other fan models that have nailed it. And that's why I'm hoping they come out with a UCS DeLorean, because I feel like they'd be able to nail it at that point.
Cement, we are building things. I am building this. And Joshua is building the Chinese Spring Festival. And
That's
Kirk's
exactly
working
right.
on Cave.
Here's the progress I got done on it. So yeah, there's a lot of like base building here. I'm working on the sort of pond area on this set, but it's so weird to open up a set with not one base plate but two base plates. So you get two different sizes. There's so few base plates these days that it's always a surprise.
That's awesome, though. I didn't know it came with 2 base plates.
Brickstar says a larger scale DeLorean would be awesome. I have maintained all throughout the release of the Jurassic Park Gate and Dinosaur that they are going to come out with a Jurassic Park Jeep, because if you place the other larger scale cars on the mud tracks of where the gate is, that car fits in perfectly, whether it's the Aston Martin or whatever. That scale, it fits. So a Jeep would work well.
Did not know that, so that's interesting to know.
Yeah, exactly. And someone before was like, well, Brian, actually, Lego doesn't have the license for Jeep, and that is technically a Jeep vehicle. Well, we have a Jeep in Technic, so...
Yeah, Jeep is owned by Ford.
It's going to happen. You heard it here first, chat.
So, Classic Bricks, I am building the 3-in-1 Creator Beach House that just came out. That's what I'm doing.
If you want to go into another tangent, Mini Brick Production says Ninjago City Gardens for a non-Ninjago fan, worth it?
Oh my God.
I have thoughts.
So do
Obviously. So I think if you are a non-Ninjago fan, and if you want to get Ninjago City Gardens, there's an incredible amount of detail for you to buy it, build it, and be happy with it. My fear, and the reason why I have voted against it, for me personally, I've made that final decision, is that I know for a fact there are at least 2 other sets that accompany the Ninjago City Gardens, Ninjago City and the Docks. And to get those on the aftermarket, which you would have to now if you don't already own them, they are very expensive. And I would be very tempted to get those other 2, which cumulatively on the aftermarket, especially with the gardens now being out, that's $1,000. So if I buy that one and I want the other 2 to go with it, then you're talking $1,300 potentially. But if you can control yourself and you just want the one, it's great. But man, those other 2 would look really good right next to it now, wouldn't it? And then it sits there and you're like, So
what else is left in regards to like the ideas release schedule?
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
The Home Alone house as well, right?
Yep.
oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, that I wonder when that's supposed to release.
And you're getting that winter this year or
Okay.
next year. You're not getting, you're getting that around Christmas time, of course.
That would make sense. That would be perfect for them.
There's also the guitars that are a thing.
Okay, I forgot about those.
That was like a side competition thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about those as well.
Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh though, I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks because like I love Winnie the Pooh.
That is one I would be interested in getting hands on with.
Yeah.
Going back real quick to the Ninjago discussion, I can say for the Ninjago City set, I'm not a massive Ninjago fan by any means. I think there's some cool stuff in there and everything, but building that set, years ago when that first came out was like blew my mind. By far one of the best build experiences I've ever had. So I think the new set looks similar to that in terms of like types of pieces, variety, the level of detail. I think you could be very, very happy with that set, even as a non-Ninjago fan, even if you maybe don't know the backstory of every character in it and all that. Marcus Rollbuehler is the Lego designer, did the latest one. Super talented guy. He's done a lot in the APOL community before he started at Lego and has done a lot of great designs since he's been there. So I'm no surprise there that he knocked it out of the park, and I don't think you'd be disappointed if you bought that.
Also, as a non-Ninjago fan, I can't even say it right most of the time. I agree with you 100%, Joshua. It's a cool build, and if you're into like the cyberpunk look and feel of things, it's not a bad starting point.
The other ideas project in review is the Globe.
Ugh.
The McAllister House, Winnie the Pooh, the Globe, and I think that's it.
Gotcha.
Chat, correct me if we're wrong.
Sonic was on the maybe table, right?
Maybe, yes. I hope that happens. Also part of the review is the Zen Bonsai. There's also the Colosseum. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, I'm sorry. The police station modular. That's up for review.
So many great ideas. It'd be amazing to see how Lego could take those ideas and turn them into something.
It's almost as if Lego should make them. We'll see.
No.
Everyone's pointing out Jeff's groan when they mentioned the globe. I'm actually excited for that. I think that globe could look amazing on display with like some architecture sets and stuff like that. I'm all about that.
Jeff's gonna pop off. Oh boy.
I think I'm more about display with a lot of sets, and I think things like the architecture sets look really good when you're trying to make a little sort of a classier looking display, not something that kind of sprawls out over a bunch of shelves, not with a bunch of minifigs. Things you can have, on your bookshelf, maybe some books beside it, that sort of thing, which is how I display some of my architecture sets. So I think that globe would fit very well.
Speaking of fancy things, the typewriter, I forgot. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Same idea there. Yeah, I know a lot of people were not a big fan of that, but I'm excited for that, and I think that could look really neat as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Typewriter, piano, globe, same sphere, right? Same fancy on one shelf.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah. The ship in the bottle kind of fits that same vein as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can fit very well with that idea. So I think sets like that are really great.
The bonsai too. Well, it's not ideas, but the bonsai. Okay.
Very true.
Jeff, don't give that look. The bonsai's cool. Come on. That's a very interesting
great,
technique.
Are you not a fan?
Everything is great.
Oh, come on, Jeff. Not on that one.
So how much do you want me to go into this?
You can a little bit. I mean, I like what the cherry blossom version. That's my favorite. Be polite.
That's what I'm trying to do right now, okay?
Come on now, you got it.
Uh-oh.
Or maybe you don't.
So I love bonsai trees, and I love cherry blossoms, and I love all those things. You know what I don't love? Them in plastic.
Getting them in plastic?
Not getting them in plastic. The actual plants.
Well, right. Oh, you think it's just dumb they're doing plants in general?
Hey!
Oh, you could have said that.
I didn't want to say that. I'll let you say that. That way Joshua can talk to you about, look, we don't say dumb.
No, everyone, listen, everybody has their own right to an opinion and everything. But I mean, I like how the bonsai was pulled off. I love seeing the pink frogs are awesome. I think that's such a unique way of conveying what that is supposed to represent. Like the building, as much as you may think the bonsai is a dumb concept, which I can see, the building techniques in those sets are crazy.
Hey,
We're right.
You're right that I think it's a dumb concept, but the piece usage and the creativity used to illustrate those points,
right?
It's like you just said. I'm not going to complain about that at all.
Exactly. That's why, you have your right to the opinion, but that you can't know. And I know as a Lego fan, you appreciate that, which is why.
I'm just coming off as Captain Negative. I'm trying not to.
What are you, Kirk?
Okay.
Jeff, I know you're not negative. It's just a matter of all of us explaining our thoughts instead of just being like, this is stupid and that's it.
Well, that's yeah, okay. That's what I'm just trying to make sure that's not.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay, all right. I can appreciate. I'm going to bring back the hamster reference. So Brian gets all the Mario sets and is like, Jeff, come on over. Okay. Check these out. Okay. Aren't they great? And you're like, okay, man, that's an awesome pet hamster set that you have with all the tubes and all, but we're going to be late for the movie. I'm really happy for you, and I couldn't be more pleased that you're pleased because you're my friend. And that's how I will always see it when somebody shows me something that they like. I'm never gonna.
Kevin had a good question earlier here. Bringing on a personal friend / typewriter expert to build the set on stream. We'll actually be reaching out to Tom Hanks for that stream, and I'm looking forward to having him on.
that would be wonderful. Imagine if we actually got Tom Hanks on here. But that
Hey, for a Lego typewriter, who knows? From what I understand, he's really into them.
You know what, Kirk? You and I wouldn't be on that podcast to be Joshua
probably
handling
wouldn't,
all the
yeah.
professionalism on that one. We're not involved.
Joshua would want them all to himself. As much as I love Tom Hanks, Joshua just wouldn't want to stay.
Hey, you know what? I wouldn't blame him. I'd be like, you know what?
No, I probably wouldn't do it. I would just mess everything up, probably.
Nope. I would. I know for a fact.
I
Tom
definitely-
Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks can't handle the heat, so I'm gonna leave Joshua to that one.
Oh, just think about it. That would be so amazing.
Or Pacino. Al Pacino is a big Lego builder too. Or
Terry Crews. Get Terry Crews.
I'm
Orlando-
thinking more the typewriter angle than the Lego angle.
Yeah.
But that's true.
Orlando Bloom, but of course, if you took his Lego away, he would be Lego-less.
Milan in the chat says, "Do you think Jang would come
got it.
over to
I
that
got it.
stream?" Can you imagine a live stream with Tom Hanks and Jang Bricks?
Wow.
Oh,
Pay-per-view.
Yes.
Pay-per-view.
Yes.
yes.
Oh man, that'd be good.
Man, Jeff just froze up real good.
No, I'm good. I'm right here. I was just, holding that pose for a minute.
Yeah.
It'd be incredible. Oh, look, Tom Hanks is on stream. Wait, why is the chat disabled?
Any reasons?
I think you really overreacted to that volleyball, Tom. All right. Block.
All right. I don't know why that got me, but that got me.
Tom Hanks.
Big. Did you like being in Bachelor Party? All right, Kirk. Thanks for all the questions.
Oh man.
I'm Kirk Wilson, Tom Hanks. I'm a big fan of yours. What was the money pit work like working with that girl from Cheers?
Oh boy.
I remember Cheers. Somebody told me about it once, and then I binge watched all of it because it's the 80s.
That's actually something I probably. I'm not even gonna like the.
Kirk, I gotta take you to the actual Cheers in Boston.
Oh,
We
you
go
know what?
Fenway when baseball's a thing again.
If I ever make it down to Boston, then
No, Kirk, look at me. You will.
got you.
All
All
right,
right,
we gotta do a big meetup in Boston sometime. That'd be great.
we do like
Brian
just
can
like
show
the
us
whole.
around.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
We walk the Freedom Trail.
Yep.
Love it. Yeah, but when I was in Boston with my family many years ago, we went to the Cheers, the original one there. That was cool. Which actually reminds me, speaking of Boston things, John sent me this random link that he said he wanted me to ask you about this place that these trucks keep running into a bridge that's and then someone apparently like recreated this in like a Lego stop motion or something. And so then it's been in the news now. So you need to as a local tell us about this, Brian.
So, okay, there is a specific road / semi-highway situation called Sturo Drive,
Okay.
in which it is notoriously low. All right. And there are plenty of signs everywhere saying, hey, if your truck goes over X amount of feet, go this way. But what happens every August, September? All the people coming from overseas or across the country or whatever have no clue what's going on. And they potentially can't read any of the signs. So when they're moving their college-aged kids into the dorms in Boston, they're taking their giant U-Hauls all throughout Sturo Drive. U-Hauls can't fit over Sturo Drive. So especially if they're not from the city that they're getting the U-Hauls from and like they don't know, no one warns them, they'll ignore the signs. And what happens is because it's so low, the truck's top ends up getting scalped off just right over it. And it causes a traffic jam all the time. Now, apparently the spot that it's in, exactly like as you see in the video, except the truck will stop. It won't keep going like that, but it's literally like the top part of the truck is right clean off. So it happens all the time. And Neurocindy says, yes, we watched videos of these trucks hitting as a family on Christmas. Yes, it happens all the time. So the phrase is getting Sturoed when you end up losing the top of your truck over Sturo Drive. It happens all the time.
Can you throw in some Boston accent on that one, Brian?
What on what specifically?
I'm getting Sturoed.
every time you take a truck and you go over to Sturrow Drive, it's like you're getting Sturrowed. The whole top of the truck is gone. The whole
Thank
thing.
you. Appreciate it.
That stop motion video the person made is perfect. The way the top comes off there, is so good.
Yep, it happens all the time.
Oh man.
So
Look at that.
it's great.
So I wondered that's a good explanation because I wondered when John told me about this, how are there so many people that drive trucks into this? But your explanation makes a lot of sense of like people from out of town, they maybe can't read the signs at all or don't notice them or something. So that makes a lot more sense than just like truck drivers who you would think would know better.
Yeah, truck drivers, industrial drivers know because it's a part of their route. But people, civilians, they have no idea. And as far as I know, I don't know if it's definitely one specific spot I can visualize in my head, but I don't know if it's multiple spots in that if they tried to change it, then it would either compromise the integrity of the traffic and like then more, giant trucks would go through there and it would cause a whole big thing or whatever. So I don't think they're able to change it in a way that'll work, but it's just a thing that happens and it keeps happening no matter what.
My apologies to Joey in the chat. Sorry, it's not a stop motion. It's just a live film. So you got to make sure you get those things right.
Yes, of course.
Is that? Yeah.
So that happens quite frequently in Boston.
Have you ever seen it happen personally, Brian?
No. Thankfully, I haven't. Because
thankfully, don't you like watching? So, all right, here's the thing. So when I was taking Emily back to Oklahoma once, we had to go to the Vegas airport, which I don't know if you've ever been to McCarran. It's a nightmare. So we're pulling into the parking spot, right? Like okay. And, clearance signs and everything else. And we see a guy with like 610 speeds on top of his truck, like brand new, like looking sharp. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's going to make it. And Emily is like, it's not. And I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. All 6 of those 10 speeds were on the ground immediately right in front of me. It was glorious. That's it. It's my story.
it does happen.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Oh man. I really needed to get that off my chest. So I appreciate, Brian. This was good. Getting that graphic out there, really being able to work through each theme and get our full thoughts out there.
It was cleansing, wasn't it, Joshua?
It really was.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, I knew it would be a good discussion, and I know there's still so much that they could do with all of that, but I want to know what's coming this year, man. I just do.
Well, those kids on Instagram seem to have a pretty good idea, Brian.
Oh, let me tell you. Oh, wait, no, I can't tell you. Oh, well, there was one image of a thing that not an image.
I
don't think you know what I'm talking about. But somebody said that something was coming out on April 1st of 2021. April 1st. 1th. April.
I see what
1st.
you're doing.
No, you don't, because the child that typed it on the Instagram post put April 1th instead of April 1st.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were.
That's how I know they're kids on Instagram. So if anyone's watching this right now and is like, Brian, you're really insulting the children. That they're not kids on Instagram. They are children on Instagram because they literally put first on the post. All right.
I see.
Jeez. That's all I wanted to say. Those kids know nothing. All these rumors, shout out to David Hall. Apparently he has his sources out there, all the Lego Star Wars, all these things going on. The people that are having these sources, it's literally connects Kenny in a back alley that's summoning David Hall and saying, "You're getting another Slave One, David." And then he vanishes into the thin air. And then he's like, "Guys, you're not going to believe this. We're getting another Slave One, summer 2021. Can't believe it's going to be $50, $540. That's all it is. It's all a lot of talk. And it's not a dig at David. I'm sure he has the sources, of course, but a lot of this going on. You know, where's the substance? You know what I mean, Jeff?
I think you're just describing Rumpelstiltskin.
Maybe I am.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fair. I mean, the guy that tells people things.
Yeah. And maybe it's because I'm salty that I don't have Nintendo information. All right.
I mean, you're kind of salty about everything. So really, you know,
hey, kids, Instagram, Jeff, hold it. Instagram kids, look at me. Hook a brother up. The DMs are wide open.
Well, somebody said in chat that we're getting Luigi's Mansion for $119.
Who says this? Who?
Who's making stuff up?
Show yourself. Who?
I like how Kevin just is here to offset everything you say, Brian. Here's a little counterpoint. You know, maybe it's not a child, maybe it's someone, you know, English is not their first language.
Kevin, you do so much talking. It's incredible. Where are you? Where?
And that's coming from Brian, so you know it's a lot.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, actually, Brian, what if it's somebody that doesn't understand the English language? The only language you need to know is English. Okay.
Oh no! Okay, we already went through this with the Polish thing. Let's not get upset commenters. Okay.
Yeah. Where's Mike? He said he was going to be here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kevin says Brian and I are the yin and yang in the universe, and then you got like the ball of red in the middle. That's Jeff, and then he's just like swirling around in there a little bit too. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff, how do you feel about Joshua having to hire you to become their bodyguard once they start going back to conventions?
All those Bionicle fans, man.
Yeah,
they're
those
gonna...
Bionicle fans are going to be very.
So if Joshua wanted to partake in my excellent security services, which I have over 15 years in, I would be more than happy to accompany Beyond the Brick to these conventions and basically make sure that they are untouchable.
Well,
I'd be more than happy to do so.
The thing is, Jeff is already having a job by being my bodyguard. So actually, my moderators on Twitch all serve a very specific role. So I have Aunt McLeod, who is the one who helps organize the lines and keep things tidy when I'm signing autographs. We have Building with Steve, who is the one who de-escalates a situation if there is one, the talker, the negotiator, the etc. And then Jeff is the one where if somebody's having a problem and they won't shut up, Jeff throws them literally across the convention floor and just gets them out of my sight. So we have 3 separate members to handle what's happening.
Wow, you've really thought this through.
Yeah,
I like that.
100%. Because these kids, they emote in front of me in Minecraft and Fortnite. Someone's got to yeet them across the convention floor, and it's not going to be Steve. It's going to be Jeff.
Steve, yeah, it's going to be. I have no problem with. How do I say this? So I worked in juvenile detention for a long, long time, and I have no problem with going back to those roots if need be.
So don't emote in front of me at a convention. You hear that, chat?
Oh, I will toss you literally into a wall.
Oh, man. You hear that, Kirk? You better behave.
And I understand that I'm fat, but I assure you, I'm super strong.
Oh, yeah. I if there's top 5 people that I wouldn't mess with, Jeff is one of them.
Have you guys met in person? I'm trying to remember. You got okay, never met in person. Jeff, have you been to a show, a Lego convention?
So, like in 2018 or 17, there was this big fat guy that was stalking you, and I can't remember the other guy's name, as you walked around a convention and did things at like 2 a.m. Besides that, no.
Joshua meets so many people. He hasn't.
No, I didn't say anything to you guys because it was right after I got divorced, and I was always told that I'm an idiot for liking Lego and blah 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 and all this stuff. So like, I wanted to get into the community, but I wasn't sure how. And I'd always watched Beyond the Brick videos, and I was like, man, I really like to meet those guys. So I went to Brick Fair. It's either Virginia or Alabama. I can't remember which one. But I was there, and like I went one day, and I stayed until like dawn for the most part, or until I was like, well, I'm tired, I'm going home. So I did. Mm-hmm. But that was the one convention that I've ever been to, and like I don't know. I'd really like to go to more, but
You will.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'm sorry I couldn't meet you there in person. Feel free to say something.
It was Joshua. It was definitely me avoiding people. Like, I'm not good with big groups of people. I'm not big with that stuff.
Yeah.
So when Brian, when this whole thing clears out and everything else, my goal, I have 3 specific goals. Get married to Emily finally, because that'd be nice. Second one is go to Boston to watch the Red Sox lose to somebody, I hope. Share a hot dog with Brian, have a nice cold beverage.
like Lady in the Tramp style, right? We got to share a hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got sausage between our lips, between the 2 of us. Wonderful. So, nice big hot one. And
Okay.
What's the third thing, Jeff?
Let's just get it out.
I finally want to meet all of you guys. Like, I want to meet Boone when I did his Spotlight Live stuff, and like, I want to do that. I want to go up to the Pacific Northwest, and I want to hang out with those guys, and I want to meet Dave Morgan, and I want to meet Fazoom, and that's what I would really like to do. Like, in all honesty,
You will.
yeah, we'll see.
And you know what, Jeff? Even though I was nowhere on that list, I still want to meet you.
Kirk, I invited you to be an usher at my wedding.
Oh no! I'm just messing with you. I remember.
Ryan's already going to be a groomsman. You're going to be an usher.
Oh,
This is
man.
fun
Yes.
here.
Yes.
I'd invite Joshua, but I insist he wear the red suit.
Oh, wow.
I'm nowhere on that list. That was hilarious.
Hey, have you girl seen the red suit yet?
Have
No,
I seen what?
I think we need to. I think we need to wrap things up with Brian showing off his promised Harry Potter set that he said he was going to do.
Yeah. Let me get the buildings. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Oh man, Jeff, have we ever? I don't think I've ever seen is that whole room Lego there? Can you turn your camera at all? Give us a brief tour while Brian is getting the set.
So I'll try. My camera's kind of finicky.
Okay.
All right, so this is Lego over here. Yes. Multiple pieces, sets, and things like that. I feel called out when you were like, whoa, display Lego. I was like, oh, man, that's me to a T. So my other big passion is Hot Wheels, pop culture, Batmobiles, and things like that. I don't really collect the other ones. I don't care about older cars, I guess. I'm sorry. Over on the windowsill there is some Exo Squad toys from back in the day, like favorite things, I guess. Up on the shelf are some works in progress, some mocks, some sets, of course, obviously. That's a giant Aquazone mech. I don't know why I was so excited about Aquazone being a thing first.
Oh boy, not that.
Behind me, I want to say, is my Batman stuff. Like,
Okay.
Oh God, I'm sorry. There we go.
No, there you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. But that's the Batcave that came out last year, and the Batwing, and the 2 mocks up there of Batmobiles that or whatever, and then just some other random sets and some action figures that are carded. There's nothing like crazy vintage retro about any of it. Like, it's all modern stuff from the 90s and 2000s, but it's stuff that I like and stuff that I like to collect. So
Nothing wrong with that. So you and Boone probably just had like nonstop Batman discussion. You could probably go on for like 5 hours together, I imagine.
really like old toys in general. Like he and I
true,
both, we're relatively the same age, and I don't know. It's been really cool. So a lot of people say 2020 sucked, but like for me, I got to meet Brian, I got to meet Kirk, I got to meet Boone, I got to meet you because of the 24 hours. So thank you. And
It's good to have you.
I couldn't be happier with how 2020 was, except for the whole death thing and everything else that's going on. But like,
Yeah, lots of good streams in the community. So, so Brian, what do you have for us over there?
I have Diagon Alley, the latest of the latest, largest Harry Potter sets out right now. I got this from Beyond the Brick, who by proxy got it from Lego for the 24-hour stream. So big shout out to Lego for giving it to Beyond the Brick, who by proxy gave it to me. So there are 4 buildings in Diagon Alley. I do not have all the minifigures attached here because they are just kind of dispersed, but I do have some of them. So I'll start with one of the buildings. There are 4 buildings as a part of it, as y'all most likely know. I built this on the 24-hour stream as well as my own personal free time. So this building is where they sell the quality quittage supplies as well as the daily profit. So it's a pink building that also has a little section for the newspaper, for the Harry Potter realm. This one is very colorful. It's very pink, and I like it. The window details on the front are excellent as well. I believe the details on the very front of the windows are printed elements, but there are a ton of stickers on here, so be wary of that. Good thing to note in here is you also get the Quidditch robes for Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff as well. So if you wanted to get those to go with your Quidditch match that came out a couple years ago, you could do that. There's also this building here. This one's a little bit darker. This is a Scribulus and then Ollivander's Wand Shop, which Ollivander's is a very important part of the Harry Potter franchise, where you get your own you get your own wand. So that's pretty cool. You can see the dark blue and gray is a great color scheme, as well as all the details on the front, including the owl over here, which actually just fell, but he's ideally flying. And then you have all the details on the inside as well. So you have like a reading nook area toward the top left. You have Scribulus in its entirety on the bottom left. And then the thing here is that there is a staircase that comes out, so you can actually access the second floor if you are a minifigure. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, like I said, very important part of the franchise, because that's where you get your wand if you are a wizard in the wizarding world. This one over here is the I forgot to place the stickers on this one because I misplaced the sticker sheet. So I am drawing a blank on this one here. It's the bookshop where this egotistical megalomaniac over here does his signing. So you see the bookshop toward the front, and then there's also like an ice cream parlor over here. Please, somebody remind me.
Somebody in chat should remember.
Yeah, somebody over there. But you can see all the details in there. Lots of little itty bitties for details all throughout these 4 buildings. It's actually not quite annoying, but there's a lot. There's a lot going on. You're going to be spending a lot more time on this than you might think. Flourish and Blots. Thank you for that one, Milan. Or rather, Demur. Thank you, Deanna. And then the final one over here is the largest of the buildings, which I didn't think would take me as long as it did, but it certainly did. And this is the Weasley's Wheezing Shop. This is the tallest one as well. Very lavender. Very cool indeed. This one has the most detail of any of the 4 buildings. It is, again, very lavender, very unique color scheme overall. And it reminds me of a shop that, apart from being a part of the Harry Potter universe, you could see in like a, I don't know, Times Square sort of a deal. It has this wonderful magic about it. A lot of the details you see on the parts in there are stickers. They are not printed, so keep that in mind. Lots of stickers on this one. So yeah. Overall, this is a really great building. I really like all 4 of the buildings. A lot of people are like, oh, should I get this if, I'm a Lego modular fan? Is it a good addition to the collection? And I think it stands out a little bit too much by comparison of the other modulars, although they do stack up kind of height-wise and everything else. I don't have any other modulars back here to compare it to, but it does stack up relatively well. But if you're not a Harry Potter fan and you get these, I mean, you are kind of losing something by not being a fan. So I can't recommend them from a non-fan standpoint, but the details in this will keep you busy for a very long time. It's a incredibly good-looking build. I'm satisfied with it. I'm happy with it. I don't know what they could do next other than potentially a Gringotts Bank to go with it, and then potentially a Nocturne Alley, which could really, really fit back here. So there's also pins that go toward the back of the buildings for you to combine them, but also that's just a little alleyway for Nocturne Alley over there. So the two noticeable things that are not here are Nocturne Alley and Gringotts. So I fully believe they'll come out with a Gringotts that has a mine cart segment to go to the vault to access Harry's fortune and all that. They could do Hogsmeade as well. I'm just thinking immediately what goes with this that isn't also another big addition, like one building to go with it. So Hogsmeade would be a bit more, like maybe even the size of Diagon Alley, if not a little bit smaller. But in terms of one building, it'd be Gringotts or Nocturne Alley. So I like it overall. And who knows if they'll come out with more.
There's a builder named Pink Wheels and Teal Wheels, I believe. And she's a Lego lady, and she's building the rest of the buildings that should go with that. And she's on Fazoom's channel a lot, so like every Monday or Thursday or whatever. If you want to see a good representation that would fit alongside those buildings, check her out. She's on Instagram as well. Her and her daughter build together. It's great.
Right. Baker Nation in the chat is saying Hogsmeade is next to Hogwarts. You thinking a leaky cauldron? Yeah, I was just going by what's happening in chat. Yeah, Hogsmeade would be its own separate thing, but then yeah, you're totally right with Leaky Cauldron being one of them to add on. Yeah.
Thank you for giving us the final recap now. So after the 24-hour live stream, where you finally got it together, where do you plan to display it?
Well, the Hogwarts castle isn't going to move because it has lights. I'm not moving it. It's too beautiful. The other two from the Light My Bricks kits I have moved. They are still assembled. I haven't gotten rid of them or anything. I don't know where I'm going to put this because I like my displays I have for the Beyond the Brick setup right now, but I'm going to probably experiment with it after the stream and see what happens. So probably next week you'll see where they end up on the traditional setup you find me at on Beyond the Brick.
Gotcha.
Sounds good. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for us today. Excellent discussion, Jeff. Glad you could join us. I think we should have you back on sometime in the future for sure. So I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a real honor to be here. Thank you.
And Kirk, any update on the mock throughout the stream here?
I finished my design. This is going to be out of focus because I have to manually focus it. But I finished the design for Dummy that I'm going to go with most likely. There might be some slight modification, but I think this is pretty much the final thing for that. The main thing though I wanted to do was like not actually use the one from the set because I felt that kind of defeats the whole purpose of a mock. So yeah, so that's it for that. I'm going to be getting some more progress on that later on today.
Wait a second. We've been going for like 2.5 hours, and you just built a robot?
Well, because I was just okay. No, wait. Because of it's the fact that these are small parts. My stuff is not like sorted out strategically in a way that I can easily find each part that I need. And also, I'm like listening in and chatting when I decide to actually speak. But there's that whole thing. There's gonna be more stuff going on with this mock, but probably it'll even be finished by next Tuesday.
So the 4 times that you decided to pipe in, that distracted you from building the robot?
Look.
Yeah, art takes time.
Gentlemen, in other news, this Saturday is my birthday live stream. Tune in twitch.tv/BricksO'Brien. Check it out for all the hot new info.
What can we expect from that stream?
Maybe there's hints on screen of what may happen. Maybe there's not. You're just going to have to wait and find out, man.
Awesome. We'll look forward to it. And bring your own cake and pizza.
Yes, I'm going to have my own cake and pizza, actually. I'm having a cake potentially shipped to me.
But Brian is actually shipping us all the exact same cake and the amount of pizza that he's going to have to be shipping it all to us. We're all going to partake. We're all partaking.
There we go, Kevin.
I don't want to distract you from your robot building.
Okay, Jeff. Look. Ben and Jonathan just confirmed that they deal with the same thing. I don't know. Like, so
Joshua, close us out.
Yep. Kirk has taken enough. Okay, Jeff.
Oh boy.
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed our breakdown of the potential themes coming from Lego in the future. We appreciate everyone watching. We'll see you